You can eat the walls.
Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak.
It's Sunday, April 13, 2014. It's time for your Gitmo Nation Media Assassination episode 608.
This is No Agenda.
Filtering the mainstream of harmful carcinogens for your protection here in FEMA Region 6 in the Travis Heights Hideout in Austin, Texas. In the morning, everybody, I'm Adam Curry.
And from Northern Silicon Valley, where I'm doing my taxes and I don't like what I see, I'm John C. Dvorak. It's Crackpot and Buzzkill in the morning.
Oh, man, I'm so not doing that yet. Don't we have until Wednesday?
Yeah.
You reminded me of it.
Thank you.
Oh, I don't like that. I got a frog in my throat this morning.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
You've always been sick for the last few shows. People haven't noticed.
Well, it's been...
Oh, that's right. It's oak.
Yeah, it's been the last couple of months. We started looking around. Maybe we should just get an apartment somewhere and leave the Travis Heights area because we can't. It's just allergy stuff is crazy.
Does everybody suffer from this, or is this something you get used to?
No, last night, so yesterday I worked all day so that I could have a couple hours at our buddy's 50th birthday party.
Okay.
And it was outside, of course. And even people who were born and raised in Austin, they all say, oh, yeah, well, that's our dirty little secret is our allergies that we have here. And it's
really? So people that have been living there all their lives and they've got no reason to have allergies. Yeah. Have allergies.
Well, why don't you...
Because of Austin's pollens.
Please go to my Twitter stream.
Your Twitter stream?
Yes. You know where I tweets? Where I put the tweets?
Under the name Adam Curry, I believe.
Yes. And look for the picture from the party from last night.
Curry, Pocket Agenda.
Yeah.
We're live now.
Yeah, that's a little
No, that's not it. That's not it.
There's a photo of Miss Mickey, myself, and a surprise guest... as the theme was American Hustle.
What's his name?
That's Sir Gene.
Yeah.
A rare insight into the fan base. Is that a great shot?
Hey, I can get you some stuff. You think he's going to talk like this?
He had the whole thing down. He even had a little baking soda under his nostrils. He did. It was a great party. Yeah, in bed by 11:30.
Well, that's the way to do
it. That's the life we're living, baby. I tell you.
I'm going to start off with some good news.
Oh, okay.
China's been corrupted, and I think this is the best thing that's happened ever.
And we have something to do with it?
I believe so.
Okay.
I got two clips, and it's about what happened on Sina Weibo.
What is Sina Weibo?
Sina Weibo is the combination Facebook and Twitter of China.
Oh, really?
And
it's a combo. It's literally a Facebook Twitter combo product.
Well, it's more Facebook than Twitter, I think.
Okay,
but they call it more Twitter than Facebook. But it doesn't seem so because they have likes and all that kind of cornball crap.
Is it SinaWeibo.cn?
Sina is the company. Weibo, WEIBO is the product. I think it's Weibo.cn.com. I don't know. But this is the good news. This is the report. It's all right now. There's big breaking stuff happening. Chinese, they don't like to be critical, but they can seem to be critical. It seems that they're taking on some characteristics of the American public, which means that they can be manipulated in new and different ways.
Like all social media, China's Sina Weibo has seen its share of celebrity gossip and scandalous photos. But there's nothing like a lying, cheating heartbreaker to really get users going. Link Asia's Beijing correspondent Mark Dreyer joins us now. And Mark, what is this post that's been drawing so much attention?
It all started with a post by a newspaper a couple of Fridays ago that said, "See you on Monday," implying that they had some big news to break. But the news actually broke over the weekend instead. Actor Wen Jiang, whose 53 million followers give you some sense of his popularity here, had been caught cheating on his pregnant wife, the actress Ma Yili, and posted a lengthy public apology ahead of the newspaper exclusive. That was forwarded 1.2 million times and drew 1.9 million comments, many of them critical. One person wrote, "Those who feel that Wen Jiang's apology is insincere, please click like," and tens of thousands did so. Another had this to say, "The highest order of male scum are those who have hurt their wives and let the mistress take the blame, while they themselves are able to start afresh." Adding to the scandal was the fact that the mistress in this case was another actress, Yao Di, who, like Wen's wife Ma, was another of his former TV co-stars. But that was just the start. Ma, the wife, then posted this short message. Although love is easy, marriage is not. It's to be seized and cherished. That comment was liked more than 2.5 million.
Wait a minute. So what you're saying is,
isn't this great?
We have spread the horrible, stupid social media sickness upon them. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
It's like a disease.
That's pretty good.
And it's got them going. And even this meme came up about cherishing and all this other crap. And there's all these likes flying around, and the Chinese are being critical, which is publicly saying bad things is not normal Chinese trait. I mean, the whole thing is just completely. It's just, to me, it's just out of control and wild. There's a second part of this you want to play. It's shorter.
I don't know if I really want to.
Oh, come on. You got it. This is the beginning. This to me is a historic moment.
The 4 posts, 2 from Wen, 1 from Ma, and 1 from Ma's father, were the 4 most popular of the week, setting new records for the numbers of reposts, comments, and likes.
They should be making up their own vernacular. It's like they can't just be using likes.
Oh, this in Chinese is some other word.
And what's posts and comments? Don't they have like tweet, a weeb?
Yeah, who cares? I think the corrupting factors are in play.
It certainly looks like those who argued Weibo was dead may have jumped the gun somewhat.
Oh, we heard that. RSS is dead. Twitter is dead. Facebook is dead. Weibo is dead. They're using everything now.
Yeah.
They even use do they have a Michael Arrington of China?
Probably.
Mark,
TechCrunch.
Is there any sense of who's been fascinated by this scandal?
Yes, John C. Dvorak in Berkeley, California has been fascinated by this scandal.
I have.
Well, Sina actually said that most people discussing Wen's initial post were females aged 24 and under.
Oh, wait. Are there pictures on this thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, with chicks?
Yeah.
There's selfies?
Yeah.
I don't see any I see someone with food. Oh, man, the Chinese like to... Oh, here's one. Oh! Yeah, there's a cute little selfie.
No, it's out of control.
Look at these kids. What are they wearing? Oh, my goodness. Oh, you're right. They can never take over the world now.
No, they've been corrupted completely. This is the worst thing that could ever happen to the Chinese government.
They should never let that happen.
Out of its way to censor things and do this and that. They should have shut this thing down from the get-go.
I completely agree. I can't read or understand much of it, but I can see the selfies. Okay, well, this is you're right. This is very good news.
Today's and we should mark the day.
Yes, it is April 13th, 2014. Renminbi.
Yeah, you don't have to play anymore.
I'm practicing. No, renminbi. I'm practicing my Chinese. We got to get ready for.
Well, that's probably not a bad idea.
Let's get ready to rumble.
Rubble them. We're rubbling them in cyberspace is what we're doing. Rubbleizing them. Good work. Good work.
I just thought I'd have some little good news today. Since our donations were so far down, that would be the only good news of the show.
Yeah. And do you think there's a reason for that? Have we just not been doing our job, which is what I immediately think? I always think, did we not do it right?
Listeners are
tired of us?
I think a lot of the listeners are just not stepping up to the plate. I mean, we have our regulars and we have our subscribers, but we don't have a... we have these moments. And of course, tax time is here, and you can always use that as an excuse. But I'm not going with having an excuse not to donate after I got this letter, which I don't have in front of me, but it's a guy in England. And he says, oh, this note came over the weekend. If it came on Friday, I'd have my wallet in hand. But since you sent it out on Saturday, it's impossible for me to donate. I don't know what he's talking about. Like, is he going to send us the wallet? Is he going to mail the wallet? But this is like one of these guys, instead of actually contributing to the show and helping us out,
he's actually
gives us an excuse not to donate and then berates us for when the newsletter comes out, which is a reminder to watch the show the next day, as opposed to coming out on Friday.
It actually takes time to send an email to you. And actually an email to you, where normally people just send it to me. I mean, this guy really went all out. He did some real work.
Yeah, he went through all the trouble of doing this and said, he's a classic. This is the kind of I think we got more of these people than we really want. which are this kind of screwball. I don't know how to even describe a guy like that.
Well, it doesn't matter because I'm still enthusiastic, and I've still done my research, and I've done my homework, and I've got things to discuss. And the first thing, as you know, we're always on top of what kind of drugs to give our kids and for what reason. You know, I love the DSM. The DSM-5 is out now. That's the Diagnostic Statistic Manual. It's the Bible for the pharmaceutical industry.
Yeah, it's the profit-making Bible.
Yes. So
make money.
New research has shown something very important. Now, of course, we're all familiar with ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder.
Right.
And we have a couple of drugs to treat that. We have Ritalin, and we have Adderall. These are all great products. If your child is taking them, by the way, we here at the No Agenda Show recommend you try them yourself. I'll give you a good idea of what you're doing to your child. Just take one. That's all it will take. Now, there's of course a problem with this. The way I view the world of pharmaceuticals is the H in ADHD does not really. I mean, there's a whole bunch of kids, 2 million, in fact, according to this article that I found in the New York Times, that they have attention deficit, but the hyperactivity is a problem. And now, groundbreaking research, John, has determined. Oh yes, groundbreaking.
We got new stuff coming.
We have a new disorder, and your child just may have this. It's called sluggish cognitive tempo disorder. And the condition is characterized by lethargy, daydreaming, and slow mental processing.
What test do they do to prove or disprove or measure, let's say,
well,
slow mental processing?
The Journal of Abnormal Child Psychology.
Something at the kid, like a crumpled up piece of paper, you throw it right at his head. Does it take him forever to block the shot? Boom, bounces off his head. Is that it? Is that slow mental processing?
Well, listen to this.
What does this mean, by the way?
Well,
is mental processing, say you're fast at on a basketball court, you're dribbling around, and you're kind of dumb in school, which can happen.
Mm-hmm.
Is that slow mental processing? No, it seems unlikely.
In an interview, Keith McBurnett, a professor of psychiatry at the University of California, San Francisco, that's up in your neck of the woods, co-author of several papers on sluggish cognitive tempo, he's an expert, said...
Oh, our guy. What's his name again? Hold on. Stop.
Keith McBurnett. When you start talking about things like daydreaming, mind wandering, and those types of behaviors, someone who has a son or daughter who does this excessively says, I know this from my own experience. They know what you're talking about. Time to drug him.
Drug him. Kid's daydreaming. He's thinking about a better future. Drug him.
Drug that bitch. Oh, my goodness.
Wow. So a kid can't just be daydreaming?
No.
No daydreaming.
Get back to work, slave.
No daydreaming for you.
Do that number line, whatever it is.
Yeah, the number
line. About 2/3 of children with ADHD diagnosis take daily medication, such as Adderall or Concerta.
2/3?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
And that 6 million kids who in America alone are diagnosed with ADHD, just as kids. There's grown-ups are diagnosed with this too. Anyway, they did a study published in the Journal of Child and Adolescent Psychopharmacology, concluded this is the first study to report significant effects of their medication on SCT. That's right, Strattera is the medication.
Strattera. Let's look that one up.
Yeah,
sounds like one to check out.
I need someone to be diagnosed with this so that I can try me some Strattera.
Strattera.
Because I like it's Strattera.com. I like me some daydreaming. Here,
I haven't seen any
Strattera is
commercials for this yet.
Oh, this is no good. Strattera is a non-stimulant that may provide relief for ADHD syndrome. What do you mean non-stimulant? Who wants that?
And look at these two people that are on the front page of their website. And one woman looks like she's in the zone talking about daydreaming. And And the other kid looks like a pervert.
Hey, we can get a 30-day free trial. I need to try me something. I'll try anything. Let's see, is there a commercial? Let's see if we can find a commercial.
But it's for bipolar. I wonder she looks out of it.
No, they can use it for anything.
Tell your children, teenagers, doctor, if your child, teenager has or...
Here we go. Here we go.
Oh, wait. You don't have to have it. You just have to have a family history.
Here we go. I think this is a Strattera ad. We'll probably get an ad.
You know, they don't want you taking Strattera. No, they want you the doctor to know.
Basically, we've got our work cut out for us. Sales are down.
What's it like to have adult attention deficit disorder, ADD? You often feel distracted, disorganized, restless.
Thanks, YouTube.
Tapped out?
No, it's Flash. Here we go.
Able to finish things. Like the channel keeps changing in your mind and you can't control the remote.
You guys have any thoughts?
If you felt...
I hate this... It's just I got spinning beach balls.
These symptoms your whole life, you may have adult ADD.
What about you, Ann?
A condition your doctor can diagnose and treat.
Ann?
With prescription Strattera, the first FDA-approved medication for adult ADD. Strattera can help you stay focused so you can get things done at work and at home.
Slave.
You should not take Strattera if you're taking an MAOI or have narrow-angle glaucoma. Tell your doctor if you have a history of high or low blood pressure, increased heart rate, or any...
You should see this commercial. Is this woman, like, she needs to double her dose. She does not look good. Wow, Strattera.
Yeah, let me get this. Let me figure out what we're going on here. Atomexetine. Let's see what that is.
Dr. Barkley, who said that SCT is a newly recognized disorder, also has financial ties to Eli Lilly. Oh, really? Oh, interesting.
Well, I've never heard of such a thing.
He received $118,000 for consulting and speaking engagements. Okay.
It's good money.
Huh.
It's more than we're getting.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Did you find anything on the Dr. McBurnett? Anyway, I thought it was just I thought it was kind of just a really nice little thing to add. There's 2 million kids in America who have sluggish cognitive tempo disorder, SCT. Check your kid. I think your test is valid, John. You throw a wad of paper at the kid. If the kid goes, what?
And it bounces off his head.
He's got SCT.
Before he can even move his arm to stop it. That would be a slow thinker.
Yeah. Yes. A daydreamer.
That would be what the test the doctor should do. You can sit him down, crumple up the piece of paper, and then toss it right at the kid's forehead. See what happens.
Oh, man. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah.
Okay, so this is not to be confused with a serotonin... something uptake.
No, don't confuse it with that.
Selective reuptake inhibitor.
Yeah. Yes.
I can't figure out what this drug is, what it does, or where it came from.
It's good though, right?
No.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Good. It's probably bad for you.
You know, I received. I got a back and forth email with someone, a ham, of course. Excuse me. And
I can see the hams all sending you notes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 73 is good buddy. Oh no, they don't say good buddy. That's CB talk. We don't say good
really
buddy.
Bad.
73s and 88s for the XYL, the YSL, whatever. Regarding the pinger, the underwater locator for the so-called black box of the Phantom aircraft that is still being reported on CNN every minute.
It is. I know.
By the way, every single time you see Richard Quest, you know Richard Quest. He's that British guy who's on CNN, and he's their aviation expert. Tell me you've seen this guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Every single time I see him, I just remember back to 2008 when he was arrested in Tompkins Square Park in New York with meth in his pocket, a dildo in his butt, and a rope around his testicles.
He had a dildo in his butt?
Yes, and a rope around his testicles and meth in his pocket.
Was this reported? I don't remember.
No, this is in the New York Times. That's why I keep reminding myself of this fabulous event. And this guy is now telling us with some great authority Yes,
that's your news media, ladies and gentlemen.
He's got a pinger in his butt. Yeah, this is a great story. And when the cops arrested him because he was in a kind of a predicament. Because he had this rope around his nuts. I
can't really move.
He said, "I have meth in my pocket. I have meth in my pocket." What a doob! Can't believe that. You gotta get. Oh, Central Park. I'm sorry, not Tompkins Square. Central Park, even worse.
Yeah.
64th Street West Drive around 3:40 a.m. Gee, I have meth in my pocket. He said. Anyway, so this ham questioned me.
Sure it's the same guy?
Yeah, that's the same guy. That's why I'm always tickled.
No, I mean, because that name is not uncommon.
No, that's the guy. It's the guy from CNN. It's Richard Quest from CNN. Yeah.
That's what they have to hire nowadays. The times are tough. He probably gets paid.
And this was
$250,000.
This was 2008.
It's not long ago.
Yeah, well. So this ham says, Adam, really, this when this battery runs down, it's very easy. This was regarding the 37.5 kilohertz versus 33.1 kilohertz, which of course...
No, 33.3.
I'm sorry, 33.3, which in our book means, okay, there's the code. This thing is obvious bullcrap. Otherwise, they don't pull that number out. And so I'm like, I'm going to go take a look and look at the company that makes this. I did some work. Looked at it is the DK120 beacon. Here's a couple things that I found that are very interesting. First of all, it is indeed rated 30 days on the battery, but after 30 days, it will not change in frequency. Their spec actually specifically states that it can vary by plus or minus 1 kilohertz from the 37.5 kilohertz. But what does happen is when the battery starts to run down, because it's an acoustic beacon. The beacon will then, so its acoustic output is 1,060 dynes per square centimeter of RMS pressure. But after 30 days, when the battery starts to run out, it's not like all of a sudden, bloop, it's just done. Then it drops down to 700 dynes per square centimeter RMS pressure. I have no idea what that means, of course, but I do know that it doesn't die after 30 days. Okay. But also, the pulse of this pinger, how they're like, we picked up a ping! We picked up a ping! This thing, when operational, pings for 9 milliseconds every 9/10 of a second. So it's pulsing continuously. It's
bing,
not
bing, bing, bing,
yeah,
bing, bing.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, continuously. But here's something that I found that was in the Federal Register of all places. When the French Air France plane went down in 2011, they changed the rules with the FAA specifically, but for all aircraft worldwide, ICAO rules, that underwater locating devices now have to have batteries that last 90 days. And this rule was literally put in place 3 days before this flight went down.
Was the rule? What was the implementation? What was the rollout? Did it have to be on this plane?
No, it didn't have to be on this plane. But I just found the timing of that incredibly coincidental for some reason.
Yeah, I'm not. I
don't think there's really anything to it. But I did find it interesting that this plane went down pretty much a month before everyone has to start rolling out these new beacons with 90 days. And there's all kinds of issues with this because if it's a 90-day battery, then it's a lithium-ion battery that could be deemed dangerous. And there's all kinds of stuff.
Blow up the place.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff like that. But anyway, so just running across those specs, this thing is not going to float all of a sudden down or drift down to 33.3 kilohertz. That's not according to its spec.
So what did the ham guy say to you? Never finished.
Oh, and he said, surely you know from the Heathkit days that when your power goes low, it's just like, this is not a Heathkit. This is an FAA certified piece of equipment. This is not a self-build ham Heathkit. And then he came back and we said, you know what Heathkit's first kit was? An airplane.
It was?
Yeah, I didn't know that either. Yeah, the first Heathkit was an airplane. But anyway, this thing does not just stop after 30 days. It will reduce in its pinging output pressure level.
We can call that loudness.
Acoustic output is what they call it. Acoustic output. That also will not drift that far down in frequency, and it pings continuously. It's not, it's not like a World War II submarine. Bloop, bloop, forward ahead, one bubble. Bloop. So everything that is now being shown on television and being prognosticated by the guy with the rope around his testicles and the meth in his pocket is bullcrap.
What was the rope doing around his testicles? Was he in some S&M club in New York or something like that?
That was never made clear.
I think it's something they should have asked him. Maybe they should ask him now. It's kind of like, what were you doing?
Maybe we should something we should
exactly were you up to?
Or we should just give it a shot. I don't know. Wow. Wouldn't it be funny if Aaron Burnett all of a sudden just said, Richard, I have a question.
That would be her last day on the job.
No.
Yeah, she says she's going to marry some billionaire. She wouldn't marry a millionaire.
She's already married to a Wall Street guy, I think.
Oh.
Yeah, she has a kid. They got a kid together.
Oh, yeah. Damn, she doesn't need to work.
Anyway.
She's just being told to work.
Anyway. All very good news, and here's the best news of the day. Grand Gris Raldon Raff and Laura Poitras in the country. No problems at customs.
How was your return back home? Did you experience any difficulty at the airport?
No, it was very smooth, which is what we expected, which is why we came back, because we didn't think that the U.S. government would do something really counterproductive, and they didn't, so we're happy about that.
Oh, I thought Laura Poitras always...
Greenwald?
Yeah, it's Greenwald in New York.
And he came in with Poitras?
Yeah. I thought she always got stopped.
No, no. He's such a dumb blowhard that he answered the question before she had a chance to bitch.
How was your return back home? Did you experience any difficulty at the airport?
No, it was very smooth, which is what we expected, which is why we came back.
I just had a story to tell, and now you blew it for me.
Because we didn't think that the U.S. government would do something really counterproductive, and they didn't, so we're happy about that.
Yeah.
So he's back. So Greenwald's in the country?
They had to pick up an award.
Also, you can count on the $25,000 a pop plus. Well, $25,000 is what he's going to get. Speaking engagements all over the place, and a few freebies at a couple of colleges.
Oh, really? Is that really what he's doing? He's here to do to pick up some dough.
I guarantee it. You're going to start seeing him giving speeches. It's going to be a lot of universities, which is low money. He'll get. Depending, so it's either going to get from zero, which you'll probably work for, to about $10,000 maybe for some of these college gigs, and then he's going to do a bunch of the corporate gigs, and those are going to get him 20 if he's got a good agent, which I'm sure that all the agents will work for him because it's not like you get an exclusive agent; they all do it,
right? And
then he'll get $25,000 to pop on those, and minimum. I don't think he's got the wherewithal to get more than that because he's going to have trouble. Rationalizing it to his enemy, Scaife.
Scaife?
The other guy, what's his name?
Scahill?
Scahill.
Yeah.
Scaife is what I that. Anyway, Scahill would like to get that kind of dough, and so would Poitras. But Greenwald's been out of the country so long, he's going to get the big speaking engagements, and he's going to be lined up. He'll be here. He'll probably do it for about a year. This is just my guess.
But there's something inherently icky about him coming back into the country just to pick up an award.
No, this is because that's not what
and the speaking engagements. I get it. That's a good point.
He's got to make some money. Get back to Brazil. He'll bring back about I don't know. He'll probably do about 10 to 20 gigs. Bring back $500,000.
Yeah, nice. Before they off him.
Yeah, no one's going to do anything.
Wouldn't be funny?
He's already been offed. He's on the Intercept.
It would be funny if they did a quest on him.
A what?
A quest. A Richard Quest.
Oh.
He gets found with a rope around his nuts and meth in his pocket.
I got meth in my pocket.
Oh, man. Well, he has no news, that's for sure. What was really interesting is this back and forth Bloomberg, and let me see who is the reporter on this.
Yeah, what was this? I didn't get any clips of it, but I kept
there's no clips, but so Bloomberg reported, Bloomberg.com. Somebody find who the reporter is. The NSA said to exploit Heartbleed bug for intelligence for years. Michael Riley. And so he, very clearly reports. Oh, wait, there's a video here. Maybe we can, I didn't know it was a video. Maybe we can get some of this from him. This was on Bloomberg Television Street Smart. We'll probably get an ad, so let me turn that down. Here we go. Is it working? Anything? No. Very, very clearly that the reports, the NSA or other
the National Security Agency knew about the Internet's Heartbleed bug for 2 years, but instead of telling the public,
this flash has got to go, man. This has got to stop.
I think it's your connection.
No.
Decided to use the flaw to gather intelligence. Bloomberg News reporter Mike Riley broke this.
Come on! Oh, this is so annoying. All right, I get
whatever.
Yeah, I get spinning beach ball. I'm sorry. So he breaks his story, and then the NSA comes out very clearly saying, no, not at all. This is not true, and our general bias, this is also the language used by the White House, the bias is to let the public know about so-called zero-day exploits, something that is brand new and is just kicked in.
Right.
Let's see, maybe I can play this now.
How did this all work?
Here we go.
So this is actually what the NSA does. They have more than 1,000 people whose job it is to really look at software code, and especially really important software code that covers a lot of the internet. What they're looking for is flaws. They're looking for vulnerabilities that they can use, that their hackers can use to get into computers. If you contrast that with the open source security community, they have a small number of researchers who spend a lot of time trying to maintain the integrity of the code, and they just missed this one. The NSA did not.
So that's a pretty clear statement.
Yeah, I would say, okay, go on with the thing, because I'm starting to form an opinion as you develop this.
Okay. Well, the only thing I would say is the last time a guy did something like this and was really kind of, like noodling the government was when Bloomberg, the reporter, sued the Federal Reserve. Do you remember this? Mark Pittman from Bloomberg?
Yeah.
And then he died of a heart attack at 52? If I were Mr. Riley here, I'd be very careful, unless you think that your thinking is maybe there's something else going on here.
Well, if the NSA says they didn't do this and their policies otherwise, they do the other thing, which is to tell people. The problem with the flaw in the story is his report, which says the NSA is looking for these flaws so they can spy on people, essentially, to boil it down, which makes zero sense because they have all the means there are to spy on people. They don't need other ways to spy. I mean, they can spy on us effortlessly now. Why do they need to be doing this unless, this makes no sense. It makes no sense. So if the NSA says, and I'll take them at their word, that we didn't do that. It's bull crap. We don't. What they should have said was, no, we don't do that. It's bullcrap. We already have the mechanisms in place.
Right.
So what would we want to do? This is stupid. I believe them. So there's something. The story is now. I never thought, because I first bought into it too, that the NSA was sitting on this. But when I heard this guy's report, when he says that the NSA is always spending his time looking for flaws. No, they're not.
Well, there's something else about this whole Heartbleed thing that is bothering me. Are you bothered
by the logo? Where did this logo come from?
Well, so there's yes, that's the thing that's like scratching at the back of my skull. I'm going now. I think it doesn't matter. So this came about very quickly, and if we still are going to contend that there's so now. Let's work backwards from this. This is real-time processing we're doing here. So let's say this Bloomberg guy who seems like he's kind of trying to be a little bit of a greenwald. Look what I got! Hackers there at the NSA, which is kind of the way he's talking. Not that he doesn't sound like a technologist at all.
No,
he just sounds like a guy. who's got a scoop. So we're working back from that. This is anti-NSA. Now, one of our original theses is this is a CIA versus NSA fight that has been going on.
Fight for the money.
Okay. Yes, for the budget. For the budgets. And now, of course, we know that there's people are trying to get the secret budgets out and to find out who's got what, but it's all about the money. So this bug was discovered by a number of people. It's not entirely clear if it was at the same time or if they worked together, but it was Neil Mehta, Mehta, who's a security researcher at Google, which is CIA. We know that. Google is just the CIA. Along with a company called Codomicon. So let's look at Codomicon for a second.
That's funny. I went to the Codomicon convention in San Diego recently.
Really?
Oh, no. I'm sorry. That's Comic-Con. I'm sorry. Never mind.
So June 30th, so this is just 6 months ago, 7 months ago, Howard A. Schmidt became chairman of Codomicon's board of directors. Howard A. Schmidt.
How do you spell Codomicon?
Charlie Oscar Delta, Echo November, Oscar Mike India Charlie Oscar November .com.
Got it.
Codomicon, the market leader in security testing, announced today that Professor Howard A. Schmidt was chosen as chairman of the Codomicon board of directors. Schmidt is an internationally distinguished security expert who has served President Barack Obama as White House cybersecurity coordinator. During the administration of George W. Bush, Schmidt served as the vice chair of the president's Critical Information Protection Board and special advisor for cyberspace security for the White House. So these are a bunch of... This is a spook.
Okay,
essentially.
yeah, obviously.
All right, so this whole company is essentially a spook company.
Yeah, it's probably highly financed by the government's intelligence.
Oh, yeah. No, just look at the company and look at.
But you look at their website.
It's obvious now
on the website.
So now this Neil Mehta, who we don't know that much about, his Twitter, he had like 3 tweets in 2010, 3 in 2011, and then all of a sudden this one.
The funny thing is when you look at a picture of Schmidt, he just looks like every older spook in the business.
Oh, yeah, it's a spook.
Yeah.
So Neil Mehta all of a sudden discovers this with these guys, and they're all thanking each other, but they don't really explain the process, how they found it. And then Neil Mehta gets a $15,000 reward from HackerOne. And HackerOne, if you go to HackerOne.com, is... effective vulnerability disclosure program, making the internet safer by improving vulnerability research. Disclosure is good. This is a disclosure program sponsored mainly by Facebook and Microsoft. And they have all these donations that is, they talk about disclosure, but it's very unclear where this money comes from. And when you discover a bug, then you can get a bounty. And
disclosure is good, they say. All technology contains bugs. It's inevitable that a member of the public will discover a security bug in your software. And how you respond reflects the maturity of your security program. Maintaining positive relationships with security researchers is one of the most effective means of providing a safe and secure product. Disclosure shouldn't suck.
So Neil Mehta of Google, who discovers this, gets an imaginary magic $15,000, although if you look at and this is a Dutch outfit, by the way, this HackerOne.com. These are Dutch people. So this is a Dutch company, a Dutch organization who run this disclosure program. Let's see here, our crew, here you go. Here, Marijn Terhegen, Michiel Prins, Jorbert Abma. These are all Dutch people. It's registered in the Netherlands. The thing runs in Holland. But somehow they get this this money, these bounty.
That's because they're humble hosts of the Internet Bug Bounty.
There you go. So it's very unclear where this money came from, but $15,000. And what does Neil do? He gives it to the Freedom of the Press Foundation. which is Glenn Greenwald's outfit there. This little his little freedom of the press thingy where they're
it's Poitras Greenwald.
Poitras Greenwald.
The usual suspects.
So this thing smells bad. It just smells bad.
Who's this Meta guy? What's his name again?
Mehta. Yeah, very hard to find anything.
It's a very common name.
Yeah.
For Indians. What's his first name?
Neil. Neel. So Neil Mehta donates Heartbleed bounty to Freedom of the Press Foundation.
Well, let's take a look at his LinkedIn profile.
There you go.
That's something we can do. Neil Mehta, Real Security, San Francisco Bay Area, Computer and Network Security. Doesn't say that he's at Google.
Well, all the news reports say that he's at Google.
Well, let's see what it says. This must be the guy because he's the security guy, right?
The Google security researcher boosted a fundraiser for online privacy tools, passed its $100,000 goal by donating the $15,000 reward he received for helping to expose the Heartbleed bug.
Well, I thought he donated to the Freedom of the Press thing.
That's what it is.
Oh.
The Freedom of the Press Foundation.
Fundraiser for what?
They launched the fundraiser in December to support encryption tools that journalists and others.
The Press Foundation?
Yeah, that's what they're doing. If you go to freedomofthepress.org, you'll see that there's on the homepage they are selling or they're raising money to create their drop thing.
Okay, well here he is. He's been with Google since 2008. Before that, he was in research and development at IBM Internet Security Systems. Mm-hmm. Which is where they got him from, I guess. Mm-hmm. And then he was just a book writer, Shell Coder's Handbook, and he graduated with a Bachelor's of Science from the University of British Columbia.
Really?
He doesn't have a lot of stuff in here.
Well, so anyway, when I see all these things, you have a spook company who discovers this with the guy who works at the other spook company, and then he gives the reward, which comes from who knows. Magic, $15,000 from this company in the Netherlands, and then he gives that to the Greenwald Poitras or nonprofit. This is a little too close for comfort.
Yeah, it's too many coincidental names that we always discuss with suspicion. This is an interesting little comment. He's got they have these little things, John's this and that, these little comments that you can put in these LinkedIn profiles. Mm-hmm. This one is weird. He's a director. This guy's a director of Azimuth Security. His name's John McDonald, and a quote says, Neil owns 2 ovens in the same house. I don't really think it's necessary to say much more than that.
What is one for baking children? What does he do with that?
I don't know. That's just not no reason to say anything.
So if you look at the Codomicon's news archive, starting with April 8th, ZDNet story, an OpenSSL Heartbleed bug found by Codenomicon. TechCrunch story, an OpenSSL Heartbleed bug found by Codenomicon. It's all found by Codenomicon. But there's no mention of Neil here. So who found it? And why didn't Codenomicon get the $15,000? Why didn't they get to split it up? You see, this doesn't feel right.
Here is the story from the International Business News, the International Business Times. There's these competing kind of douchebag operations. Heartbleed Bug CEO David Chartier explains how Codenomicon found the massive internet security breach. Discovered the Heartbleed blood, a gaping hole. The key to finding Heartbleed, said Chartier, was developing a way to automatically test encryption software for vulnerabilities. We attack the software with unexpected messages and see how it reacts.
Well, then how did this guy get the reward if they did it? You see?
Yeah, no, I think... Wait, here we go. Here's the explanatory paragraph. It's a growing trend in information technology security world to thoroughly test and vet software, Chartier said. His team discovered Heartbleed about the same time Google Inc. did.
About the same time? Oh.
About the same time. He felt it was important enough to make the general public aware of the serious threat the bug poses, as that would encourage companies to upgrade their services. So they were coincidentally...
Right.
2 guys. They say, okay, let me get this straight then. This is a bug that's been in play for 2 years. And coincidentally, 2 groups found it at the exact same time. Okay.
Yeah. And then the reward goes to the Greenwald Poitras cabal.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, there's nothing suspicious about any of this.
And then on Al Jazeera, we have experts, or an expert, talking about this, and she's a lawyer from a Washington, D.C. law firm, Alicia Hutnick, was actually a partner at Kelly and Dry and Warren. This is a very big Washington, D.C. law firm. And I mean, I'm not quite sure why she is brought in as an expert to talk about this, of all the people Al Jazeera could get. I did find it interesting how this moron host talks about this.
That there were reports, at least that came out today, that the NSA not only knew about Heartbleed, but manipulated it. Al Jazeera reached out and the NSA denied those reports. Do you think it's possible that the NSA knew about this?
Knew about this? Now, I think she's here to run interference.
Well, here's the question. For 2 years...
Wait, no, that's not the question.
Isn't that great?
When somebody answers the question, well, here's the question. Or my favorite for this, by the way, for people out there who want to do this, is, well, that's not the question you should be asking.
Yes, the question you should be asking. Exactly. No, she does. So she's a professional spinster.
Denied those reports. Do you think it's possible that the NSA knew about this?
Well, here's the question. For 2 years, this security flaw went undetected. I think the real question is we don't know who was aware of this vulnerability. We don't know what they did with it. And
that's not a question.
Tricky thing with this flaw is that it doesn't leave breadcrumbs. In the past, when you have had these data security breaches, you've been able to look back and say, aha, here's where it happened. Here's the data that was affected. Right. Here's how we can affect it.
And that is not true, by the way. That is not true that it doesn't leave breadcrumbs. It does. The request, if you send a request and it spits back at 64 K buffer or whatever it is, it definitely logs the IP address the request came from. So this is not true what she's saying.
Here's how we can identify it. With this one, it does not leave a trail, at least not one that we're aware of yet. And so that's really the problem. We don't know if NSA was looking at this. We don't know if others were looking at that data and using it. And so that's really, I think, what has alarmed most consumers is not knowing whether their data was affected.
Okay, you know what?
No, I got news for you. Not a single consumer gives a crap. No one cares. If you're like, well, I gotta change my password. Okay, password 123.
What's bugging
I'm
me, right?
changing it to password 1234.
Yeah.
Now, and I'm trying to figure out. Well, I'm going to ask you a question. Could this affect the U.S. military, the U.S. defense apparatus in the country?
Now, this is another fantastic question, which she answers with such technical expertise.
Well, so this was one encryption tool, and the good news that we know so far is that this wasn't an encryption tool that was used for companies that handle highly sensitive data.
This is so not true.
What's she talking about?
She's saying that this is an encryption tool.
It's an encryption tool. Really? What is this? What, Heartbleed's the tool?
Yeah, it's the tool, she thinks.
Right. That there were other, much more secure, not only encryption tools, but layers of encryption. Because that's the key with data security. You're not just relying on one gate. You're relying on multiple levels of that. So I think,
levers.
It remains to be seen. At this point, it doesn't seem like it's going to hit at that defense level. It's going to hit at the financial institutions. But certainly nobody should be complacent at this point. Everybody is just running to see does it affect our companies, our layers of security in any way.
Lisa, that was good. I got you on techno.
Yeah.
What?
Well, listen. I left this whole.
What is he afterwards from her? Was she good looking?
It's funny.
Everybody is just running to see does it affect our companies, our layers of security in any way.
Yeah, Lisa, that was good. Yeah. I got you on techno.
Yeah.
I'm hiring now. Lisa, terrific. Yeah, that was a good conversation. She is a privacy, data, and security.
I think this is a radio guy who they put on TV. Yeah. Hey, that was really good, baby. Yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah, what's your favorite station? Who just gave you this fabulous prize? Z100. That's right, Elisa. So the spin meisters are out, and I don't know why this woman is this lawyer is out there pretending like she knows what she's talking about. And meanwhile, when I really start looking on the boards, and I'm in above my head, but when I'm reading that OpenSSL is, vulnerable because of its free lists. I mean, there's a whole bunch of reasons to just put questions behind the whole story in general. It's a very strange thing, and it seems like the veracity with which the NSA is denying this, they're really quite adamant. And Bloomberg just saying, "Oh yeah, it's true," which I guess. And if you take the story at its face value, this woman saying, "Oh, no breadcrumbs, you can say whatever you want to say." I guess we're all stupid in the technology community. Then maybe it's a little hit job by someone who's more effective than Greenwald because he's out of powder.
That's an interesting idea, but Greenwald was the most effective.
Yeah, but he's out of powder. He's
I know. He's been marginalized and kicked to the curb.
Yeah.
Even that's why, by the way, let's back up on that a little bit. That's obviously the reason he's back into the country, to get his profile back up.
Right.
He's like, oh my God, I've lost it. No one's calling. They were probably calling him constantly. Now nobody's calling.
They're calling female lawyers who don't know nothing.
Right. Greenwald could have been on that show.
He's a lawyer.
Yeah, he is.
Well, that's a good point. His profile. Yeah, let's see what he's tweeting. This is good. This is good. Let's see.
Yeah, he's got to be tweeting something to get attention.
Was he talking about? He's talking
Green.
Okay, he's retweeting Jill Abramson. Okay, always good. He's congratulating.
Yeah.
He's congratulating someone from the Guardian on something. What?
He's trying to get back in their good graces, knowing he's made a mistake.
Yeah. He says the worst person on television is Bob Beckel, whoever that is.
Bob Beckel is a left-wing guy on that talk show, The Five.
That guy?
That guy in the middle is always making lewd comments.
Yeah. And then he hasn't really been tweeting. It's only 3 tweets today.
At April 10th.
Yeah.
April 10th, April 11th. He tweeted April 12th. Well, he's tweeting a couple, but it's not much.
Instead of tweeting, why don't you write something on that blog of yours, Gren? That's what he should be doing, is writing something on The Intercept.
On his 83rd birthday, a reminder that Daniel Ellsberg was also smeared by that era's government loyalists as being a Russian spy.
No, still nothing new from him. Last time he wrote an article which is about the Cuban Twitter, which was not his story, was a week ago.
Well, he was traveling.
No, not a week ago.
He hasn't. Not a week ago. He wasn't.
Okay. Well, we need to keep our eye on this because the Heartbleed bug with this snappy logo, and it's a good question. Where did this come from? It was there before I even knew about it.
Yeah, no, the logo was right there, and it's not a unprofessional looking logo.
No.
It's not like some kid.
And then this $15,000, which all of a sudden just floats around. I don't know. It's
I have no idea.
No.
Okay, well, another mystery solved.
Yeah, kind of. Well, no. Here's the mystery. Of course, we're coming up on the anniversary of the Boston bombing, which was, I believe, the 15th.
Boston strong.
That's right. And a couple things happened. I didn't see Meet the Palm face the press, but one of the so-called victims, Adrienne Haslett Davis, who lost her leg in the 2013 bombings at the Boston Marathon finish line, was apparently not happy about the interview she taped on Friday for this Sunday's show. Apparently, the deal was that Chip Gregory would not mention the name Tsarnaev. That was the deal. That was the condition she had. You cannot mention that name. And apparently he did, because she tweeted that she had left in tears. She can't believe the insensitivity of Chip, that he mentioned that in the interview. So I don't know how they handled that on the show.
That was weird.
Yeah.
Well, that'll be on tonight on one of the alternative shows. I'll make sure to record it.
Right. National Geographic is putting together a Boston Bombers docudrama and that'll air this evening. Just to kind of cement in the story that they've created for you. And I'm sure they'll have lots of video, CCTV footage, except for the actual video evidence that no one has seen, except for the people, the people on the inside. But not even the governor of the great state of Massachusetts has seen the actual video of them planting these bombs. So it seems like the Ministry of Truth is ready to cement that into your head. And then, very unfortunate, I hate it when this happens. Officer Dennis Simmons, who was wounded during the shootout with the Tsarnaev brothers, where they killed that one kid.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he died.
You mean the one, the kid that had the cop standing on his head?
Yes, that one.
And then he was run over by his brother, but he couldn't stop his brother?
Yeah, but it was a shootout, apparently.
Somehow?
Yeah. He died.
Oh.
Hey, he had just taken his lunch break, and he suffered a medical emergency in the gym. Very unfortunate timing.
Oh. Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, I mean,
how old was the man?
I don't think he was that old. Let me see if there's an age here.
I thought he was elderly. He must have been in his 70s or 80s.
He was 28.
What?
Yeah, 28.
He was 28.
He had a medical emergency in the gym.
Let me get this straight. The guy who was involved in the shootout, supposed shootout, where the cop was standing on the brother's head, and then the other brother ran him over and killed him. Later, it turns out he was killed in a shootout.
Right.
And they couldn't shoot even the tires out of the car. That must have just missed the one cop by a foot.
Well, this officer apparently was wounded during the shootout.
Probably shot by another cop.
He was set to receive an award from the president for his bravery.
Huh. And dead.
Yes.
How come there's not more play on these things, these coincident deaths?
I don't know. He was a health nut, loved to do CrossFit, road races, play basketball. He was, according to his colleagues, the picture of health.
Well, people do have sudden death syndrome.
Yeah. It's just the timing is very unfortunate that it happens to him.
Yeah. Doesn't get to celebrate.
John. I'm just saying, so many people are dropping dead.
Oh, that's weird.
Well, regardless of that, I, as always, am very thankful for your courage, John, and I'd like to say in the morning to you, John C. Dvorak.
Oh. Well, in the morning to you, Adam Curry, and also in the morning to all the ships at sea, boots on the ground, feet in the air, subs in the water, and all the dames and knights out there. Your turn.
Yes, and I was bringing up the spreadsheet, and I'm like, why are we going to do this? But okay. Thank you to our artists, and thank you to, holy moly, was it Nick the Rat?
Nick the Rat making a comeback.
So Nick the Rat making the comeback against Martin JJ, but there were a couple of very, very close seconds in the art that we saw for episode 607.
We're about 3 candidates.
NoAgendaArtGenerator.com. Yeah, there would definitely, but it's what it is. We got to choose the best. So we appreciate their work, and of course in the morning to everyone in the chat room, noagendastream.com, noagendachat.net. The way we run the show is everything is based on support from the audience, who we call producers, because you literally are producing the show by giving us information, giving us feedback, supporting us with true intel, but also financially. And just like Hollywood, we like to credit our executive producers and anonymous associate executive producers right up front. We don't actually have an executive producer today. We only have associate.
We do. The highest one always moved up.
Oh, you're right.
We don't have anybody who came up to the plate, let's put it that way. But we do have, at $222.22, Sir L.B. Fudge Fountain. Apparently changes his name every chance he gets.
Nice.
He's a.k.a. Brian Moses Hall, Kilo 8 TIY, a ham, 73. And he has a note. In the morning, click and clack. And close, please find double making it rain once you work out all the issues, which is not happening today, with your contractors and corrupt arson investigations over at Club 33. Please feel free to toss Mana, M-A-N-A, the incompetent tax accountant, and Audrey, the incompetent veterinarian, onto the stage. Ideally, the least structured sound one available.
Okay.
I guess he doesn't like those girls.
No.
Open for the following combo. Putin, 2 to the head, shut up slave, karma.
Putin, 2 to the head, shut up slave, karma. I'm sorry. Was there more?
Let me finish that.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
there's a little bit. Finally, I want to add a high-definition version of Gitmo Nation Anthem as a ringtone. If any producer can get me linkage, can we put it in the show notes for him? I would be eternally grateful. And my email is findable at callclooney.org.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Now let me do this.
You've got karma.
Well, then we can help him out with this little. Thank you very much.
What?
That was our anthem.
Who did that?
Me.
Huh.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah. Well,
one note was a little bit off, but the rest was fine.
A lot of reverb.
Better than I could do.
And some auto-tune. Yeah. All right.
Auto-tune. Wow. Anonymous came in with $200 from Auckland, New Zealand. Please make this an anonymous donation. You have a fan in New Zealand. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Saab Swiss in Berchtesgaden, Swiss. $200. In the morning, I don't often listen to German comedy podcasts, which make me smile quietly while listening. Only your show makes me laugh or giggle out loud, and allows me to bear the crazy world and all the political douchebaggery with a smile. This is worth a lot. Please send me some job karma from my friend Bobby. Thanks a lot, and thank you for the excellent work and fun you provide.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
And then finally, let me just take a quick look here, see if there's a F-R-E. Is it 2 L's? I think so. Let me look in the email. Edward Farrell via PayPal. Donation received. There's a no note that I can see. Anyway, so Ed Farrell in Evans, Georgia, is in for $200, and that concludes our producers and executive producers for show. What show are we on?
608.
608.
Yes, yeah. I feel bad now because we're taking next Sunday off. We have one more show to go, and I feel like you're gonna go off on your little vacation. We're gonna come back broke. It's kind of what it feels like.
Well, I find that it's very distressing that these numbers are so low, and I'll talk a bit more about that when we get to the regular segment.
Okay.
But they were, could be the newsletter didn't get a lot of distribution, except for that guy in England who was bitching about it, came on a Saturday, so he can't donate on Saturday. But maybe he's got some religious thing going on. Whatever. By the way, the newsletter also comes out on Wednesday. You can donate then. But, yeah, I was looking at the numbers and comparing them to last year, and we have probably, I'd say, 3,500 more people on the mailing list, and probably, I'm guessing, 10x that for listening, at least 35,000 more people listening. Yet, the donation numbers are down in terms of total donations by about 15 to 20% in terms of the total numbers, which was it was lousy. Including subscriptions, it's about 200.
Well, you can blame it on anything you want. We're clearly just not doing what people want. People want more, pinger. They want that's what CNN's proving. The Blade Runner guy. Yeah, CNN's got double the numbers. They want the guy who killed his girlfriend. They want more news about that.
Yeah, I don't even follow that story. What some guy killed his girlfriend? Why is this news?
I don't care.
Dvorak.org.
Who cares?
/NA.
Help us out, people. We really do need some support. And of course, while you're at it, why don't you go out and propagate our formula?
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth.
Shut up, slave.
And I want to remind people to go to Dvorak.org/NA, channeldvorak.com/NA. The No Agenda show's got a button, and so does the No Agenda Nation.
Yeah.
And you should go there. and get a subscription. Our subscribers, I did a calculation how many. We don't have enough subscribers. We got a bunch of them, but we don't have. It's like ludicrous. Considering the total audience size, people can't. I mean, they'll go to the movie, spend $20 on a bag of popcorn. They'll get, they'll go. The parking alone is more than they would give us for over 24 hours a month of solid material, or unless they just rather would. I don't know. It's beyond.
Do you know that Cody Wilson? Do you remember this guy? He did the 3D. He printed the gun.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that guy.
And then he now all of a sudden he has a Bitcoin organization, and he raised $50,000 on Kickstarter for something. Hold on a second, let me just see what he raised. Cody Wilson donation, because this is really making me mad. Yeah, somewhere. I thought it was a Kickstarter, but he raised $50,000.
Indiegogo.
You could, yeah. You don't even have to raise the full amount. You just take whatever you can get. So this guy, he gets invited everywhere. The Oxford Union Society? Are you familiar with this?
Never heard of it.
It seems like it's a TED thing.
Everything's a TED thing.
Let's see what it is. Oxford Union Society. I think isn't it part of Oxford University?
I don't know. It doesn't have to be.
No, but I thought this is something you would probably know
Could
about.
Could be a place out of Mississippi, Oxford, Mississippi.
The Oxford Union. Here we go.
I gotta look it up.
No, I got it for you. The world's most famous debating society.
Oh, that's right. That is out of Oxford University.
Right. That's a serious outfit. This Oxford University.
They like to. Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah. Is that what we call an Ivy League school?
Yeah, if you're British.
Oh, it's an Ivy League school. So Cody Wilson is invited. This guy who raises $50,000 for, I don't know, Bitcoin. For freedom, print the gun. I don't know. I mean, I just went and bought one. That's easier.
You bought what?
We just buy our guns. We don't have to print them.
Oh, yeah, no. Yeah. I know, it's so hard. Here's the thing. It's so hard to get a gun in America. I don't know what we're going to do. We're going to have to print them.
Well, so now I want you to listen very closely. And when you can't handle it anymore, you're going to say, stop the tape. And okay, I will stop.
I want you to torture. We're going to change the nature of this show from now on. Yeah. It's going to be called John and Adam Try to Torture Each Other. Let's do this with long clips to see how much they can stand.
Right. Okay.
I go for that. The audience, they don't care. Right.
So this is Cody Wilson, and this apparently is how you need to speak if you want to raise money on the internet.
Sense Distributed begins from a conversation that I and my co-founder have, just two people on a phone call, and it comes from, let's say, a place of despair. I've used the word despair already. Maybe like a millennial place of despair.
What?
A certain kind of exhaustion with particularly American politics, but I mean the politics of the West. What we could say is the post-political, the trans-political moment. Just the liquidation of democracy, the recognition that really democracy is kind of in this transpiring threshold of indeterminacy between the nominal liberalism, but mostly something that's contiguous with a future absolutism, something that was more confirmed to us after the revelations of Edward Snowden, for example. We might still talk.
Had enough yet, Dvorak?
Liberalism, think liberalism, but of course there's an extreme amount of force and sovereignty and executive kind of power at work underneath this nice, broad, but very thin facade. From that place, we thought, well, look, we don't want to just... it was a gun conversation first. I mean, it was like, well, what would a world be like with, semi-instantaneous access to a firearm? I mean, how would that look? Is that even something possible? I mean, it began from this kind of firearm place. So often the question is put to me, why did you want to print a gun? It wasn't like that. It was like we wanted to find the technology that would complement this kind of hypothetical scenario we were discussing. I mean, it just came from that. I mean, our frame of mind is, again, one of these of extreme suspicion of democratic and legacy institutions. And then as we kind of decided that this is a project...
Had enough yet, Dvorak?
No, I'm finding this guy fascinating.
We found our footing and found our rhetoric. And, of course, then our ambition grew once we realized, oh, my God, this is working, this is having an effect. And then there was certain a certain kind of
guy has got to be the biggest blowhard at a dinner party ever.
Fatal theory that we employed, a fatal strategy, which I think we'll begin to kind of discuss toward the end of this. So this project begins with us saying, can you 3D print a gun? And if you can, doesn't that mean anyone else can do that? And taking a page out of WikiLeaks and Cablegate, doesn't that mean that, you know, this kind of is a self-negation of a certain progressive principle of the control, or at least the channeling of manufacture, especially manufacture of these politically contentious objects?
I think he's high. I think
he's on Adderall.
That's
Adderall.
That's I agree. It's
bunch
really
of bullcrap terms all sliced together, saying this and that, trying to sound smarter than he is, because nobody talks like this.
You know, I found online a new age bullshit generator.
Well, that guy's been using it.
We exist.
Sounds like he was reading from it.
Non-locality requires exploration. The world is really radiating superpositions of possibilities, John.
Yeah?
Yes, we exist as ultrasonic energy. Balance is a constant. Consciousness consists of subatomic particles of quantum energy. Quantum means an unfolding of the psychic.
Maybe that all seems obvious, but for us it was like, oh my God, if we could do this, this seems to be on the table. We were willing to be the people to both develop that and put that into the public domain. And so the first kind of premise was available, which was the language about open source technology. The language of an open.
All right, now I can't even.
I got to balance this off. Hold on a second. Number 243, Confucius say, lipstick on collar more dangerous than lipstick on lip. Okay, that was it.
Yes, very good, very good. Yeah, so anyway, my point is this guy, you know, raising money hand over fist, talking at Oxford University with this.
With gobbledygook.
And people are like, oh, yes. Oh, Cody, yes.
Right on. Yes. I've said the same thing to my wife.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Do a movie quiz if you want to move right into that. That might get people. That gets people. They like that.
No. I have some actual stuff to talk about. Let's do something real here for a moment.
Oh,
I'd like to talk about the propaganda that is climate change. Climate change.
Did we talk about that on the last show?
Yeah, but I hadn't seen Ann Curry's special report, Year of Extremes, yet on NBC.
What year of extremes? It's beautiful outside.
Well, we had a year of extremes, and I want you to listen to this report.
Oh, that's right. You know, when Superstorm, Hurricane, whatever you want to call it,
Big Sandy,
that was the indication that we're going to have a giant, massive storm every single year, right?
Well,
and Sandy was last year, right? So there should be another one this year.
No,
I'm sorry. Sandy was in 2012. Then there was something big last year. What was it? What was the big giant storm last year?
Yeah, there was none.
Oh, okay, go on.
Something is so in the communication of climate change, which, by the way, I'm going to say it is important to have this climate change meme. This is the economy now. Everyone is so out of ideas that climate change.
Drugs.
Well,
don't give drugs short change. They're part of the economy.
Yes. But we need we need to flow the drug money into something. We need to produce something with it.
Okay.
So I'll start with CNBC report about how we need to rebuild our cities and this is really what is coming out of this report. And we try to follow the trend line of this latest IPCC report.
I'm seeing it clearly now.
The trend line is sea levels rising. Okay. Sea levels rising. If Big Sandy, which is what they're calling it, Big Sandy, because of the at least a foot higher ocean level, apparently. A foot. Well, there's no evidence of this anywhere. They've talked about maybe an inch or two, but okay. In New York, apparently was a foot.
Okay.
And it could be 4 feet within another 100 years. We need to rebuild everything. We need to rethink everything, restructure everything, and they've got guys like this who you're about to hear on CNBC, along with you're going to hear some woman who is she's in the climate change department of some city.
Well, they have these now.
Yeah.
An expert in climate change, Doug Foy advises city governments and planners on energy efficiency and environmental protection.
Now, this is really big. The New York Times had an article about a Dutch guy, and he's now like he's walking on water in America. He's the Jesus. And I know these guys. He's a consultant, like a waterworks consultant. Typical consultant guy, bald head, shaved head, got that Dutch accent. Everyone's buying into it. Oh, yeah. And it's easy. They're taking taxpayer money and they're building all kinds of things which, in 100 years they think will be necessary because of climate change. So it doesn't matter whether it's going to happen or not. It is the economy. It is how money is flowing. Unfortunately, it's taxpayer money.
Urban planners are going to have to deal with that by planning their cities around resiliency, around adaptation, around dealing with the threats and consequences of more intense storms.
Which means everything from putting storm gates out in the ocean to moving building systems to higher floors. Parks will also become defensive, like Boston's Emerald Necklace, which serves as both green space and a floodplain surrounding much of the city. And then there is heat. Harriet Tregoning is the new director of Sustainable Housing and Communities at the Department of Housing and Urban Development.
There you go. There's your Department of Climate Change right there. Now listen to this. This is a real card, this one.
Her mission is to help build a clean energy economy.
A clean energy economy. Ooh. I need this job. Hi. Hey, so what do you do? What have you been doing since MTV? Oh, my mission is to build a clean energy economy. Oh, really? Yeah.
The cities are looking for our infrastructure to be a lot smarter and
smarter infrastructure
to do double duty.
Double duty. It's a DP.
Handle stormwater, but also help keep the city cool. Generate energy. Generate food. Imagine those green roofs on the tops of buildings. What if they grew food for restaurants on the ground floor?
Yeah, grow restaurant food on the top of a skyscraper and let the rats get it. The whole building would be crawling with rats.
I love the imagination. What if those, and you can just see, I can see people going, yeah, that makes total sense.
Yeah, I can see it at the restaurant with the food from the roof.
Hey,
roof food. I want roof food.
Roof food. I want some of that grass-fed beef from the roof.
What if we had green walls?
Green walls?
That could also help produce food and cool buildings.
Hey, let me go I'm going to scrape some kale off the wall. Hold on a second. I want salad for lunch.
As planners imagine, corporate America is watching because the potential for profit is huge.
The potential for scam is huge, is what that is. Huge
scam is enormous.
Huge.
Well, all the companies that are in energy systems, energy efficiency, IT systems, this is where people want to be.
Yeah, that's where you want to be. This is
where the money's flowing.
This is the commercial consultant he's all in.
Just going to have to be smarter about it. And we can be smarter.
We just have to be smarter.
There's an enormous economic opportunity to do this well.
Now, cities are going to have to be rebuilt over the next 25 years. That means integration of technology and traditional infrastructure so people can use real estate in a more efficient and cleaner way. Take transit. Toyota, Daimler, BMW, they're already exploring service instead of ownership models of their cars. And that brings us to sharing and back to how social change will affect our cities.
Yeah. Sharing. Oh, man.
It never ends.
Well, so that is the business side. That's CNBC.
And I think you're dead on this, too. This is although, there's a problem here as usual, which is that this looks like a pot at the end of the rainbow, which is everyone's trying to, create the rainbow. But it's like, watching Kleiner Perkins go deep into green and pretty much almost breaking the company. Because there's no money when you actually invest in this crap, unless it's a total scam. But if you were honestly trying to invest in a company,
right? No, you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't. You're not.
The only thing, you got to go scamish.
Yeah, no, you have to go get. This is why it's about the cities. So this woman who you heard speaking, she will have a budget, and she is going to. People are going to come in with a flower point presentation and go, look, here's this. We got these green walls, and you can eat from it.
You can eat the walls.
And the first thing we need...
You can literally... Yeah, I can just see some unctuous guy. You could literally eat the walls.
Hold on a second. Write that down. No, and we need to do a pilot project. Yeah, we only need, give us $1 million, do a pilot project. You know,
$1 million?
I'm sorry. So what am I thinking? We need $10 million pilot project
just to start.
All right. Now on the other, so that's CNBC. That's the business side of General Electric. This NBC empire. Now we have the consumer side, NBC, where we have to frighten the public. And this is so beautifully done. This thing with Ann Curry. Because you'll hear at the end of this report, they had an artist render. Everything is rendered. By the way, in the CNBC, you also saw the buildings with the green all of a sudden on the walls, and it was restaurants with green and people picking the green and eating it. So this is and make no mistake, this does work on the psyche. This is how television operates. It's no different than you believing that you saw the Titanic. So listen to her report, and again, it's all about the rising sea level. The rising sea level is that's the sweet spot of this scam.
Duke scientists all agree that the sea levels are rising. I want to get you to answer that directly. Do they all agree upon that point?
So do the Duke scientists all agree on the rising sea level?
There's no disagreement.
That is, by the way, that is the setup for the thought process of the viewer.
Yes.
Duke scientists all agree that the sea levels are rising. I want to get you to answer that directly. Do they all agree upon that point?
There is no disagreement about sea levels rising. That is measured. It's not a model. It's not a theory. It's none of those things.
And what those measurements show us, Wagner says...
It's funny that the sea level's rising. Is he some sort of a sick pervert? Why is he laughing?
That's what you do when you're in on the game. But your point is excellent, Mr. Dvorak. Let's listen to him laugh again.
To answer that directly, do they all agree upon that point?
There is no disagreement about sea levels rising. That is measured. It's not a model. It's not a theory. It's none of those things.
And of course, this is we're all going to be very worried about the sea level rising.
He's not worried. He's laughing.
He's not. Well, no, we're going to be worried because we're going to be. The picture we get painted is a little different than the facts.
And what those measurements show us, Wagner says, is that sea level is expected to rise at least a foot more in the next 100 years.
You see, the way they measured it is that the sea level is, according to this guy from Duke, is a foot higher than it was 100 years ago. 100 years ago. And so, okay, I'm not a seamatologist.
Oh, that's not what I've heard.
And possibly 3 or 4 feet.
Possibly 3 or 4 feet. I'm sorry.
Wait a minute. How do you go from 1 foot to 4 feet?
Well, possibly. It's possibly.
Rise at least a foot
higher.
What? Say what?
I said it's possibly 100 feet higher. Why don't you go there?
Yeah, well, wait for the artist rendering.
Rise at least a foot more in the next 100 years, and possibly 3 or 4 feet. Maybe even more.
Woo! Maybe less, but why say that? Let's just say maybe even more. Attention, we're about to scare the bejesus out of you.
Is it your sense that people will have time to get out of the way?
You got 100 years to get out of the way. I think so. What are you talking about?
I'm a slow walker.
It goes by and everyone goes, "Oh my God, look at this! We're standing in water, honey. How long has this been going on?"
It depends on who you are, where you are, and what your resources are.
If you're tied up in a wheelchair and put on the coastline, you're fucked.
If you're in an extremely low-lying area like Bangladesh, people talk about 1.5 feet of sea level rise displacing 10 million people. If you're in the United States and you have resources, it could be that what will happen is areas right on the coast could get damaged, but that they will be able to move to interiors.
A recent study by the World Bank lists cities around the world with the most to lose economically from rising sea levels. 5 American cities make the top 10.
Get ready, American cities, because smart new thinking is coming to your town soon. You'll be eating green stuff off the walls.
Miami, New York, New Orleans, Tampa, and Boston. Consulting sea level rise maps and topographical data, artist Nikolai Lamb.
Now, listen to this. Now is the artist rendering who consulted some maps. He looked at some maps and then he just made up some stuff. So this is not a seamatologist. This is not a climate. He's an artist. And so you just close your eyes, John, and imagine the visual.
Tried to visualize what an America under siege from the ocean might look like. Here's what he imagines would happen to the Jefferson Memorial if the sea rose by 12 feet.
12 feet.
Here's the Statue of Liberty at 25 feet.
25 feet. The Statue of Liberty, her feet are in the water. 25 feet sea level rise. This is disgusting propaganda.
This is bullshit, too, because the Statue of Liberty, I've been to it, it's more, the feet are way more than 25 feet in the air.
Lamb is not a scientist, and his projections may be overly dramatic because most scientists think a 25-foot sea level rise wouldn't happen for centuries, if ever. But these images, especially of South Florida, do make you think.
So it ain't never going to happen, but it does make you think. Makes you think.
Here's Lamb's illustration of Ocean Drive in Miami Beach, Florida. At 5 feet of sea level rise. At 12 feet. At 25 feet, he imagines the thriving beach mecca might be underwater.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's your NBC Comcastic empire on the business side and on the consumer side, setting up the scam. Setting it up.
The Comcast people, who are fairly conservative, are putting up with this crap.
Yeah. I'll stay on this for a moment as we have
New meme alert on the No Agenda Show.
a new meme alert, everybody. John, you and I, as proficient publishers of many books, are in good fortune, my friend. There is a new category of book, a whole new category of writing that I think we can get in on the ground floor. And I'm going to play this clip from NPR, our national treasure, who play commercials every 15 minutes. Underwriters. Listen at the end of this report, and you will hear the new category that we can slide right into.
Nathaniel Rich wrote Odds Against Tomorrow. The protagonist is a boy genius who spins out worst-case scenarios and sells his elaborate calculations to corporations. But not even he predicts that a hurricane will inundate New York. And, of course, Rich had no idea his novel would be so timely.
Yeah, it was eerie. But I think this is the time that we live in now. We live in this time where our worst fears are being realized regularly.
Rich's novel, out this month, is the latest in what seems to be an emerging literary genre. Over the past decade, more and more writers have begun to set their novels and short stories in worlds not unlike our own, where the Earth's systems are noticeably off-kilter.
Can you name it yet? The name of the new genre is coming. Do you have any clue yet?
Oh, let's see.
Forget it.
There's a bunch of possibilities.
No, we'll just wait for it. It's coming. You'll love it.
I think we need a new type of novel to address the new type of reality, which is that we're headed towards something
Armageddon!
Terrifying and large and transformative. And it's the novelist's job to try to understand what is that doing to us.
Oh, John, I can't wait. We're going to be so good at this.
Of course, science fiction with an environmental bent has been around since the 1960s. Think The Drowned World by J.G. Ballard. But sci-fi usually takes place in a dystopian future. Cli-fi happens in a dystopian present.
You talked over it. Cli-fi.
I'm sorry?
Cli-fi.
Cli-fi as in climate fiction?
Yes.
Well, there you go. I think they nailed it. Climate fiction. Perfect.
Ballard. Yeah. But sci-fi usually takes place in a dystopian future. Cli-fi happens in a dystopian present.
Cli-fi.
We're in a dystopia? Is that what they're saying? Or no, the dystopian present is fictionalized. We fictionalize modern dystopia, which, by the way, my movie clip today is one of those things from the 80s, which is dystopian. Dystopian present. Dystopian presence would be almost any of the Die Hard movies. Yeah. Any movie at all that's being made today is dystopian.
Yes.
But it's not realistic. That's like, my wife has brought this up. We like watching certain junk TV shows that are very popular, and they're like, eating candy. And NCIS LA is one of them. And Mimi says, if this show, it's like as though in Los Angeles on a daily basis there are shootings everywhere and attempts to blow up the city, every single day. If you watch this show, and that's a dystopia.
Yes.
Well, so it's bullcrap.
Yes.
It's just entertainment, as the whole climate thing is. I'm now convinced of it. It's a form of entertainment.
Cli-fi.
For people who are bored.
It's now Cli-fi.
I like it.
And I have a little surprise for you.
I also think Cli-fi could be like a moniker for some sort of chick lit, but you're going to have to think about that one for a minute.
And now it's time for another episode of Guess That Movie.
However, I want you to guess my movie, John. I'm turning the tables.
Oh, that's a good one. You turned the tables on me. I didn't expect that.
Well, you could believe Mr. Pecker.
My name is Peck.
Or you could accept the fact that this city is headed for a disaster of biblical proportion.
What do you mean, biblical?
What he means is Old Testament, Mr. Mayor. Real wrath of God type stuff.
Exactly.
Fire and brimstone coming down from the skies. Rivers and seas boiling.
40 years of darkness, earthquakes, volcanoes.
The dead rising from the grave. Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together. Mass hysteria.
Enough! I get the point.
But what if you're wrong? If I'm wrong, nothing happens. We go to jail. Peacefully, quietly. We'll enjoy it. But if I'm right, and we can stop this thing, Lenny, you will have saved the lives of millions of registered voters.
Yeah, Ghostbusters.
Oh, very good. Very good.
Come on. You're talking to me. You got to come up with better stuff than that.
Well, I thought it would fit in nicely with the Cli-fi.
It's totally. Well, that was a dystopian situation.
Yes.
Okay, well, now you got to play my clip and you got to tell me. This is, I think, this is a dystopia. Wait. This is a dystopia era, but it has all these nice memes in it I like.
Maybe I should have you killed. Who's going to complain? You always violate people's constitutional rights. This is my jail, Kersey. And I'm the law. That means I get to violate your constitutional rights. Son of a bitch! Cooler! Come on, tough guy!
And now it's time for another episode of Guess That Movie.
Was that, Revenge of the Goonies?
Death Wish 3.
It's always Death Wish 3.
No, last it was Death Wish 4. Huge difference.
And meanwhile, the only people who actually have it all figured out are the Japanese.
Ever since the Fukushima disaster, Japan has imported large amounts of oil and gas to replace its lost nuclear power, costing tens of billions of dollars. And now this government says it must face reality.
With the understanding that there is no energy source which excels in all the aspects of stable supply, cost and safety, we aim to opt for an energy supply system which is realistic, pragmatic and well balanced.
There you go. They're smart. They're turning back on their nuke power plants.
Yeah, they're geniuses.
Yeah.
I got two Japanese clips, kind of interesting, I thought.
Okay.
Try Japanese criminal justice.
Massive injustice has been served. In Japan, the longest-serving man on death row, sentenced to capital punishment, a massive 48 years ago, has been released from jail. Isao Hakamada has been freed after DNA tests undermined a key piece of evidence against him, amid suggestions that police investigators may have fabricated a story to frame him. Well, as Fox Van Cat's Marie Linton and Justin McCurry report, human rights defenders say the case highlights many disturbing facts about Japan's criminal justice system, which has conviction rates of over 95%.
So nobody's suspicious about this 95% conviction rate.
No.
And, of course, the Yakuza run freely around Japan. There's no problem. They never get arrested for anything.
That's the 5%. The 5%ers.
Right.
Yeah.
Those are the 5% that get off.
Exactly.
And there's part two. It's not just the lesser, but it's interesting.
The judges in the original trial were swayed by blood-stained clothes that allegedly belonged to Hakamada. They included a pair of trousers that were clearly too small for him.
Investigators bring in vulnerable people and use torture to get a confession out of them. This way of making false accusations is what happened not only to Hakamada, but also to other suspects.
According to the head of Hakamada's legal team, his client is another victim of a patently unfair criminal justice system.
Judges feel they have a duty to maintain public security, that unless they convict, a potentially guilty suspect will walk free. This is why Japan's conviction rate is over 95%.
Campaigners believe Hakamada's case is yet another strong argument for the abolition of the death penalty in Japan, the only OECD country apart from the United States that still carries out executions.
Yeah, we're going. 15th of
don't
May.
get picked up. You're going to be found guilty.
Yeah, really.
No, I found that to be, I didn't realize that the Japanese system of criminal justice was that corrupt. They should be ashamed of themselves.
Well, I'm looking forward to my first conscious visit to Japan.
Oh, you've been there in your dreams?
No, when I was a kid, when I was very, very young. I don't really remember.
Oh. Let me describe it for you. You're sitting in a taxi. The taxi's not moving. Repeat.
Isn't that like that's Thailand? That's like Bangkok.
In a taxi. Oh, Thailand is apparently. I've never been to Thailand.
Oh, Bangkok is.
Okay, well that's Tokyo.
Okay, gotcha.
So you've been there already.
Well, I haven't because
and usually the taxis are covered with doilies. This could change. This was faddish. Yeah. It reminds me of the crazy balls of crap that these taxi drivers in New York used to have.
Yeah.
Those balls
they would sit on.
Yeah, they sit on these things. I haven't seen that for years. But
I think I think it was a Middle Eastern thing. Those the balls.
It was Pakistani.
Oh yes.
I asked them about those balls.
Yeah. They sweat less.
I asked one of those guys. Oh yeah, there was apparently one provider of these mats, these ball mats, and they were some old lady was making them, and I think when she died, I think the business disappeared.
Well, of course, we have Sir Mark and Dame Astrid in Tokyo, who will be taking care of us to some degree.
Yeah, well, they won't take care of you get busted.
I'll be on my own. Of course, by now, pretty much everybody has seen the shoe thrown at Hillary Clinton, which I found a couple things to be interesting about the episode. One is that I didn't see Secret Service guys jumping on her and covering her and standing in front of her.
Good point.
Is that something? Is that just something you don't do anymore? If someone's no longer really in office?
I think you still do it. Al Gore apparently shows up over in California with 3 or 4 of these.
Oh yeah, no, she has the detail, but it's not like they were. Oh well, let me protect you, madam. No, not at all.
Well, they jumped the person, I believe, that threw the shoe.
They didn't jump her. No, she walked out with her hands up.
Oh, that's right. She walked out. So there was no security. No,
they ran over.
I know where you're going with this. You're going to say this whole thing was bull crap.
I don't know exactly, but one of our producers sent me an email, which I wanted to share.
Yes.
Because, of course, we have people who travel in all kinds of circles. And this is one of our Texas producers who wishes to remain anonymous. Says, I'm listening to the show and you're once again praying for Hillary to be elected. I want to tell you I was at an oil industry event 2 weeks ago, and the keynote was none other than Karl Rove. Being a big shot myself, knowing some big shots, we were at the next table and got to talk with him for a while. I told him my dad would wet himself if we sent him a pic, so he posed for this one. And he actually sent me a picture of himself and his wife with Karl Rove. And I was distracted. His wife is smoking hot. And then there was Karl Rove in the picture. So there's proof. Oh, this guy's wife is hot. Love or hate the man, he knows his shit. The man has a memory for facts like no one I've ever known. To my surprise, the guy is very funny, too. So anyway, we were talking about Hillary 2016, and he said in all seriousness that he and most of the insiders of both parties don't think she's going to run. And this is what surprises me. The main reason is her health. He said you can't fall and hit your head, disappear for a month, and show back up wearing the glasses made for brain injury patients and expect to run for president. And he repeated the same thing during his Q&A after the speech. So this could be Rove really believing this. It flies in the face of our theory that she went away for a facelift. And quite honestly, the picture that was published of her ducking for that shoe, oh my goodness, she looks like parchment. What happened to her face?
Well, there may be two Hillarys.
Hey. Okay. All right.
It's possible. She's not so distinctive looking that you can't have a double.
Right. But do you think that she's actually now not going to run?
Well, Rove doesn't think she's going to run, but the Ready for Hillary thing is too well established.
Right? Yeah,
There's nobody else that can do this job. I mean, unless they're trying to slip Elizabeth Warren in, but I'm convinced that she'd lose to a wider audience than she picks up Massachusetts because let's face it, Massachusetts is extremely liberal, corrupt liberal state, and they're always going to vote a Democrat in no matter what. So she's there and she's got her, she's full of herself, but she's so annoying.
Oh, yeah.
Hillary is, because she doesn't show her true colors, I believe she doesn't show her true colors. And we have some people that would claim the same. She's extremely well liked by the way she presents herself and trowel a bunch of makeup on her and the whole 9 yards. And she looks pleasant. She has a nice smile. Look, that cackling laugh has got to go.
Obviously, I don't like this news at all because I desperately want her to run. I desperately want her to be president. I cannot imagine a world with anyone other than Hillary Clinton being president.
Karl Rove is a misinformation specialist, and he's done this before, and he was way off on the last election.
Who was he?
And so I'm not buying anything he's prognosticating. I think it's wishful thinking because these guys know that they're really screwed if Hillary gets in because she's going to, she's
going to sweep it.
She's going to screw these guys up.
Well, I can see, as I predicted, they're starting to push Jeb Bush.
Jeb Bush hasn't got a prayer. The latest thing he said, what was it? He said something really stupid.
Oh, I had this clip on the last show. Maybe I trashed it. It was about immigration, and it was actually something that really angered me after having had my wife deported.
Oh yeah. He's on the wrong side of immigration. He's also on the wrong side of 2 or 3 other very important issues to Republicans. So he doesn't have much of a chance.
Well, this is my whole point.
And besides that, I think we're sick of the Bushes.
Yeah, well,
although they can, manipulate things.
We're not sick of the Clintons?
Now, the one guy that's we had 2 Bushes. We've only had 1 Clinton. But we only had 2 Bushes for a total of 3 terms. So that, but
bad. Clinton was Secretary of State. She's been around.
So the one guy that has a possibility of getting some attention, and I don't like the guy in the least, even though he's got good creds, and you've gone over his stuff before, and he's from Texas, is Ted Cruz.
Cruz, yeah.
I think he's a snake. He looks like a snake. He acts like a snake, and he says stuff like, now I have this clip. This is about the United States has kept the ambassador from Iran, even though they keep saying Iran or whatever, the Iranian guy that was part of the 1979 putsch that took over the country and took the so-called hostage crisis.
Yeah.
Cruz chimes in on this report.
Iran is refusing to name a new UN ambassador after the U.S. blocked the man from entering our country. The White House yesterday confirmed it would not issue a visa to an Iranian diplomat because he has ties to the Muslim student group at the center of the 1979 Iran hostage crisis. 52 Americans were held prisoner for 444 days. Elizabeth Pran with the latest tonight from Washington. Elizabeth?
Hi, Harris. The Islamic Republic's choice for ambassador to the United Nations has been rejected. U.S. officials will not issue a visa to Hamid Abu Talebi. Press Secretary Jay Carney pointing to his ties to the Muslim student group that held 52 Americans hostage for 444 days during the 1979 takeover of the U.S. Embassy in Tehran. He's also accused of helping organize a 1993 political assassination of an Iranian dissident in Rome, but he was never charged.
We've communicated with the Iranians at a number of levels and made clear our position on this, and that includes our position that the selection was not viable and our position that we will not be issuing him a visa.
The White House now needs to decide if it will sign the bill passed in Congress unanimously, which prohibits the nominated ambassador from entering the U.S. Senator Ted Cruz, a bill sponsor, encourages President Obama to send a strong message of intolerance towards terrorism.
This nomination of Hamid Abu-Dhabi, an acknowledged terrorist, was intended to be a slap in the face to America, a slap in the face to the 52 hostages who spent 444 days being tortured.
Iranian officials reacting to the news, writing in part, "It is a regrettable decision by the U.S. administration, which is contravention of international law, the obligation of the host country, and the inherent right of sovereign member states to designate their representative to the United Nations." Tehran making it clear that country refuses to back down on its nomination.
When I heard this story, I had a different take on it.
My take's not on the story, so you can do that after I give you my Ted Cruz commentary, which he was in there talking about how these guys were kept for 400 days and tortured. Where is the torture?
That wasn't in the movie.
Threw that in.
That wasn't in the movie.
Here's one of the reports about the torture. This is as far as the torture went, and this actually was cited in Wikipedia too. The cruelty of the Iranian prison guards became a slow form of torture. This is the torture. Guards would often withhold mail from home, telling one hostage, Charles W. Scott, "I don't see anything for you, Mr. Scott. Are you sure your wife has not found another man?"
Wait a minute. In the movie, what was it? The State Department financed movie.
Yeah.
Uma Abedin was the special advisor.
Argo? Was it Argo?
Argo, yes. They did pretend to shoot them. They put him up against the wall. Well, no, I'm just telling you, that was in the movie. That might as well. That's, hey, Cli-Fi, maybe.
The case is, Cruz is a terrible person.
Here's my take on it.
Okay.
This is a fig leaf to the Saudis. It's completely unimportant. It's like someone went searching. Oh, what can we do? What can we do? Because obviously the Obama administration messed up with the Saudis by making Iran kind of the we're talking to them. These guys, they can be the kings of the region. And the Saudis have now started to talk to the Chinese, and everyone's working on maybe pricing oil differently. This is our constant theme. I think this is just a pure fig leaf to the Saudis. Who gives a crap? An ambassador. But look at who are ambassadors.
Why are you using the word I know what you're saying, but fig leaf is not the proper term.
Why not?
I don't. Fig leaf is to cover up your nuts. Is what the fig leaf's for.
I'm sorry.
There's no connection between.
It's a palm leaf, olive branch. There you go.
Olive branch. There you go. Not fig leaf.
Well,
it's a fig leaf for those naked Iranians.
Thank you for correcting me, Mr. Dvorak. Yes, an olive branch. I don't know why I said a fig leaf. I have no idea.
I was listening, saying, "Where's he going with this fig leaf thing?"
It's an olive branch. Yes. If you look at who our ambassadors are, it's whoever could bundle the most money. It's their complete. But the Anna Wintour was a candidate for ambassadorship. She runs Vogue magazine. I mean, this is ludicrous. It doesn't matter. The ambassadorships it doesn't matter. Some of them are of course, real long-term diplomats.
Yeah, there are diplomats.
Of course.
Those are usually CIA people.
Yeah, like my uncle. But it really is quite irrelevant. And this whole big story is I think it's just to say, hey, Saudis, we had a strong stance. And of course, Ted Cruz will stand up and say, hey, because he's all for these, all in on the system. I've seen guys walking around here and driving around with Ted Cruz bumper stickers. I have seen this in Austin.
Yeah.
So you're right. There's definitely something going on. Now, while we're on that
guy,
I'm sure
Ted Cruz will not play to most of America.
No,
he won't play to the independents. He looks like a snake. He's got a snake head and little eyeballs.
I really don't care.
I do. Well, I'm not voting for either one of them, so it doesn't make any difference. I'm voting for whoever runs in the Libertarian ticket.
So we had this standoff with the Bureau of Land Management and this Bundy Ranch guy.
Yeah, I have a long clip of this. I just put it. I put it on just on the off chance you'd bring it up. If you want to play it as part of this story.
Well, let me. I'd like to.
If you have a better clip, play it.
Oh, I have a clip that's related, but not necessarily about this particular story. Now, the way it's being spun by our seed guy here in Austin. Although I believe he just copied the story. I don't think he did any investigative reporting himself. That this whole standoff. So the situation is, we had this guy, and he didn't want to pay taxes of his cattle grazing on this land in Nevada, which is his own land, and I guess you have to pay $3 per cattle unit per month.
I thought it was about the tortoises.
Who God knows what it's about, but what turns out that it may be about is that Harry Reid was working on a deal with a Chinese company. It's a $3 billion deal. And Harry Reid's son is involved in this, and they were trying to force this guy out of his land to put up some bullcrap solar thing for this Chinese company. And this is a real big, it's like $5 billion solar farm. And the story as it's being spun here in Austin, Texas, is that, this came to light, and Harry Reid's involved, and, even Holder is somehow involved. And because this started to bubble up, they kiboshed it, pulled back everyone, and all of a sudden it's okay. And now this guy can have they're going to sell his cattle, give him the fair amount for it. But this really was trying to force this guy off his land. I'm going to believe that there's something to that story.
I like the Harry Reid angle. That makes more sense than the story. That's the cover story, which is that he didn't follow some rules about the desert tortoise, and he was going to end up killing a bunch of with these cows roaming all over the place.
Yeah, well, maybe that was part of the story, but I think it's a part of this. Harry Reid seems like a real dick.
He seems like a corrupt character, but he's a Nevada politician, corrupt character.
Yeah.
Let me write this down and see if it makes sense.
So I found someone had put together this compilation, and who is Harry Reid's favorite guy to guys to bitch about?
I don't know who.
Koch brothers!
Oh, yeah, Koch brothers.
And they put together a compilation of Harry Reid every single time he said Koch brothers this year alone on the floor of the House. And it gives you an idea.
And I'll bet that this isn't even all of them, because it'd be almost impossible to catch every little one.
Mr. President, I'm not afraid of the Koch brothers. Koch brothers, 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 Koch budget, Kochtopia, Koch, T-O-P-I-A, Koch budget, Ryan Koch budget, Ryan Koch budget, Koch Ryan budget, Koch budget, Koch budget. I should put the Ryan Koch budget. Koch brothers, not the Koch brothers, the Koch brothers. Koch brothers, 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 multi-billionaire Koch brothers, multi-billionaire Koch brothers, multi-billionaire Koch brothers. These two brothers are about as un-American as anyone that I can imagine. Koch brothers, Koch brothers, Koch brothers, Koch brothers, Koch brothers, Koch brothers, billionaire Koch brothers, Charles and David Koch, Charles and David Koch, Charles and David Koch, Kochs, addicted to Coke, Coke dollars, Coke money, Coke back,
Coke money. I like that one. Coke money.
Coke ads, Coke funded, Koch brothers, 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 Koch brothers.
It just goes on. It just goes on. I mean, that's insane.
That guy. Well, they're probably partly tried. I think they're funded the candidate that ran against him and almost got him kicked out, and so he's probably got a grudge.
Yeah, but that's pretty insane. And by the way, where is our money, Koch brothers?
Yeah, well, that'll never happen.
I'm going to show my support by donating to No Agenda. Imagine all the people who could do that. Oh yeah, that'd be fab. Yeah, on No Agenda in the morning.
We have a few donors we want to thank for this show. 608. 609 is coming up. Without the zero, it'd be 69. It'd be a good time to donate on Thursday. Sir JD, 14333 in San Jose, California. Oh, by the way, I have two. I sent you one email with the birthday on it, and there's another one which came in.
Yeah, it's the 33.3 No Agenda promotion by Sir JD.
That's the one I sent you, right?
Yeah, it's a PDF.
It was?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. Before we get to the end of this, I wanted to give me a second to look up the other one and make sure the one I sent you just got was an email this morning, right?
Yeah. He has a PDF of what he put in the email. And then you say, in case you forgot, you said please put in show notes.
In case I forgot, please put in show notes.
Yeah, you said I forgot the attachment, though.
No, that's not that. That's not the one I'm talking about. You must have got here.
It doesn't matter. It's the same thing that's in the email. It's fine. I'm comparing the two.
There's another email. Anyway, I'll do it at the end. But there's another guy altogether that I didn't send you anything about that I got to tell you about, and you're going to have to write it down by hand because it was a late donation that came in after the midnight thing, and then I read it this morning. And so he doesn't get credited for today's show for money, but his kid is having a birthday yesterday, so it's another one. So we should have 3 birthdays at least.
Okay.
Sir JD, Sir Keith Edwards, Gilbert, Arizona, 13794.
Do we not, hold on a second, do we now not read this email at all that Sir JD sent? He has this whole No Agenda promotion.
Oh, is that what we're talking about?
Yes, this is the email we're talking about.
Yeah, no, read that.
Oh my goodness!
If I don't have my email open, I get easily confused.
There have been way too many appearances of the magic number lately, both in media at large, frequency 33.3, etc., and in my private life, pictures redacted. Okay. In honor of this cosmic confluence, I will match donations of exactly $33.30 made in the next 33.3 days, with the match going towards that producer's knighthood. Please include hashtag NAJD in your donation notes. So he has this whole thing. Option 1, a $33.30 match. Option 2, a $50 match. And option 3, a $333.30 in your name today only. Show up at booth number 411 at the Silicon Valley Contemporary Art Fair.
What?
What? What? All right, I'm putting this in the show notes. Just fine. He'll match. And he comes in with 143.33 today.
Huh.
And he has a birthday shout-out.
I don't know anything about this Silicon Valley art thing.
I don't know. I'm just reading the note.
Yeah, okay. Well, you read it. All right. Well, let me tell you the other one. If I looked it up while you're doing that. It's James Pyers, and it's a son's birthday, EJ. So EJ Pyers had a birthday. I guess it says on here somewhere. Yeah, I think it was the 12th. Yeah, 4/12 for his son's birthday. Well, 4/12, that's coming up. No, wait, that's
yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday. That's what I thought in the first place. I'm thinking 4/20. A 4/12 for EJ Pyers. So put him on the list too.
Yeah, how's that last in first out working for you, John?
It's not.
It's going well, isn't it?
Well, sometimes there's a follow-up.
And you wonder why donations are low.
It's not the reason. Okay, Keith Edwards, Gilbert, Arizona, keep up the excellent work, 137.94. L.W. Bauer in Albuquerque, New Mexico, 134.90. What was that noise?
That's Miss Mickey.
Oh. We need an F cancer for his 43-year-old wife. We just have to just stop and do that.
Oh, I hate that. Okay. I mean, I don't hate doing it. I hate when it happens. This is horrible.
You've got karma.
Fucking cancer.
Michael Proctor, $100 from Sydney, New South Wales, Australia. Aaron Murphy, 9999 in Rio Rancho, New Mexico.
It happened.
What?
It happened.
Oh, yes.
It happened.
Yeah, we got no 6969s.
It's done.
It's been done before.
No, but this is really done. That was like a fake done
theme.
Yeah, it's done.
Yeah, we need something new anyway.
Yeah. 6,000 is my new donation value.
By the way, I'm going to go back to Aaron Murphy, 6,000. Aaron Murphy, his note, because it was kind of funny. He says, it's been a while since he donated. A bossy discussion from show 599 just killed me, and I blacked out and donated before the euphoria wore off. Yeah, we need more guys like that blacking out. Brandon Mixon, 6633 in Foley, Alabama. Matthew Parker, Park Ridge, Illinois, $66. Jay Gerald in Woking, UK, 62.
Woking. That's Woking.
Is it Woking?
Yeah, Woking.
Okay. I was just woken down the street.
Concentrated on trucking right.
Zachary Gilbrecht in Cordova, Tennessee, double nickels on the dime. Sir Jeffrey Gerlach in Lincoln, California. He's in Concord, I think. 5150. Do we have him on the? I don't think.
No, I have him on the list.
Viscount?
Yes, he will become a Viscount today. And he is taking California's 4th congressional district, which he is on the ballot for the June 3rd primary for congressman.
Good. Well, let's vote him in.
Yes. And now is that that's real Congress, like Washington D.C. Congress?
Yeah, no, it's not state.
Oh my! How awesome would that be?
Yeah, we need Gerlach in there.
Yeah, we could visit.
And he actually knows something about technology.
Yeah, but we could go visit him in D.C.
Oh, yeah. Well, he won't see us after that, no.
We can go lobby him.
Who?
Curry, Mr. Curry and J.C.D. Dvorak are here.
No. Did they have an appointment a year in advance? No, I don't think so.
No. All right.
And finally, we got $50 donors from Patricia Worthingham in Miami, Florida. Worthington, Mike Westerfield, Brandon Savoy, Walter Grant IV in Moreno Valley or something. Moreno Valley. Sven Janssen in Austin, Texas.
Hey, Sven. Hey, that's our buddy Sven. I know Sven.
Sven.
Hey, Sven.
Matthew Stevens in North of Richland Hills, Texas. Another one down the street from you. Sokovy Alexander Sokovy in
He keeps rocking it.
Yeah,
he keeps rocking it.
John Strag in San Antonio, Texas, and that's it. That's all we got. It wasn't that much, but I do want to read a note from a lesser donor who came in under the anonymous number at $49.99, but I can read the note without saying his name. Saw the SR-71 Blackbird on the newsletter, which is my sign to donate more than my monthly subscription. My dad was a navigator reconnaissance officer, backseater, from the 73 to 80, flying the SR-71, and laughed out loud and assured me that George H.W. Bush's conspiracy theory was false. Which is the idea that he was doing some deal, and he
flew back on the Blackbird.
Yeah, out of what, Orly?
Have you ever seen the Blackbird up close?
Oh yeah.
Oh, and you're not allowed to touch it, which I did, of course. It has.
I saw you could touch it.
I don't think so because
this was at Moffett Field. They had the U-2. They had a Blackbird.
I don't think you're allowed. You can't touch that because it has a very specific coating that comes off on your hands.
This was the decommissioned jet. It wasn't even in business.
I know. Oh, okay.
Well, I don't know.
I know. I touched it.
I didn't touch it.
I touched it and they yelled at me.
Well, they should. They should yell at you anyway. I saw the U-2, which is another pretty plane, but the SR-71 is quite. It's like, wow, what planet did this thing come from?
Anyway, okay. Just a serious note. In all seriousness, the whole bargain here is value for value. And we provide analysis. We try to cut through. I mean, if you really feel that you're getting a good deal elsewhere, fine. I think that we do provide the value. We need to have you step up. And I agree, John. I think that people just aren't doing it.
Well, they're taking us for granted. And this is getting...
This is good. We're making it look too easy. And, so it'll
if
be...
If this show wasn't on the air, what would you listen to as an alternative? There's nothing like this show. Nobody does what we do. We cut through stuff the way nobody else can do. They don't do, and they'll never do. And and the idea is to make the listener prosperous in spirit and in financial return. You, by knowing some of these or taking another look at different news stories from different perspectives, namely the perspectives that we provide, often in disagreement, but there's still perspectives that are different and unusual, you prosper from that because it gives you a thought edge on your fellow employees, people at the office, cocktail parties, whatever you use this information for. Maybe you don't use it for anything and you just get a better night's sleep. It's beside the point. If something positive happens or you wouldn't be listening to the show in the first place. Because of that, you literally are required to help us if you want to keep doing this. Otherwise, you're just screwing yourself.
I couldn't have said it better. That's exactly what it is. And you're also leading a healthier life.
And it's a diet, too.
Yeah.
We've proven that in the past.
Yeah. But you are leading a healthier life. And just look, next time you hear the conversation and people are talking about, I'm sure you're at the office or you're in the classroom or maybe wherever you hang out. I'm sure people are talking about the Petrea Poitras trial, whatever that guy shot his wife. Okay.
And also
you can just tune out, and they're still talking about the pinger.
And there will be people you can stand by them and listen, and you hear them exchanging network memes at each other.
Yeah.
These are robots.
Yeah. Ignore them at all costs and know that you are living a healthier life.
If you wake up with the blues, trying to fill your day with news, there's one thing you must remember: no agenda in the morning.
For a healthy, balanced news diet, try noagendashow.com.
And support us.
Dvorak.org/NA. It's your birthday. On No Agenda.
And we congratulate E.J. Pyers. His dad, James Pyers, actually sends the birthday wishes. E.J. celebrated yesterday. From Sir J.D., a big birthday shout-out to his friend Rebecca, who will be celebrating her 33rd birthday at 55 South in San Jose today. Sir Keith Chamberlain congratulates the lovely and gracious Carolyn Chamberlain. 71 is what she turns on the 19th. And a belated happy birthday to our dear friend Farmer Chris here in Austin, Texas, who turned 40 last Saturday. Happy birthday from your buds here at the best podcast in the universe.
It's your birthday, yeah.
That's what Mickey texted me about.
She texted you about what?
Yeah, about Farmer Chris. I had it written down, of course, but she wanted to make sure I didn't forget.
Oh.
Yeah, because Farmer Chris he's like the propagator of the formula at the Austin market.
Good.
Oh, yeah. He's
Give
brilliant.
him some discs to hand out.
I give him CDs, and when we had those bags, the 33 bags, I gave him those. And so this weekend we have all the finance ministers are meeting. It's the G20 finance ministers, and of course this is where the rumor is that since the United States didn't sign off on the IMF 2010 reforms, they're all going to come up with their own secret system and screw us. And Charlie Rose had a nice little gig. Nice gig. He was able to kick off the whole thing there. And he did a one-on-one chat with the... we need a nickname for her, for Lagarde. Did we not have a nickname for her? Christine Lagarde?
No, we've never come up with anything.
Well, old Leatherhead... There you go.
Old Leatherhead.
Bam! Nailed it.
Wow.
Here's old Leatherhead and Charlie. Just have two clips just to kind of set the stage of how the elites of the world of finance are thinking. And pretty much everybody is at this shebang.
Ukraine.
Ukraine.
Tell me what the IMF can do, will do, wants to do, in whatever order you choose.
Look at that. Do you hear that? That's the setup for what's going on. So this is a good example when you're at the office and people say, yeah, man, we're really saving Ukraine from that Putin a-hole. Putin, man, we gotta protect those people. Putin is like, he's evil. Putin! Now listen to what's really happening.
Okay, what we want to do, because it's our mission, is to help.
I'm from the government. I'm here to help. Hello, Leatherhead here.
The country wants our help, and the country wants our help and the help of the international community. So
Yes.
we're here to serve. Ukraine is a member, has paid its due, is paying its reimbursement because it is in debt.
Yeah, they already owe the IMF money, which is nice.
To help. What have we done? The moment we were called, we sent a team on the ground. They were there. They are crisis management experts.
I can just imagine this, John. It's like,
Wow, that's a job for you. IMF crisis.
hello, Leatherhead here. Yes, we need crisis management in Ukraine. Quick, come to Kyiv. Okay, we'll send the team. We're on our way. We're going to save the day.
They know how to look under the skin of a country. They know how to open the books.
I'm going to look under the skin of your country.
All the books and check against the reality. And they did all that. They moved into negotiation mode.
Whoa.
And we have now what we call a staff agreement between the Ukrainian authorities and staff.
I think that's like a staph infection, but I'm not sure.
So these are due diligence people.
Yeah, exactly. We look under the skin of the country. That might hurt. We know we have a ways of making you talk to get the reality of what's really happening with your books.
The Ukrainian authorities and staff. To address the key issues. The exchange rate. The fiscal consolidation path.
The fiscal consolidation path. That is lots of words for austerity.
The energy price. The structural reforms. The governance reform. All of that. So now Ukraine has to demonstrate its determination. So there are a few things that they have to do, and I'm very pleased that this morning they adopted in Parliament a new procurement law.
These are conditions.
A procurement law. So the IMF is, and Rose is right on the money, these are conditions. So what that means is what they can buy and from whom. This is economic hitman stuff in front of your very eyes. Is fantastic to watch. And the cavalierness that old Leatherhead here is just saying, that's always perfect.
These are conditions before we move into the active phase when we actually disburse funds. So once they've satisfied all these conditions...
Once they've satisfied the conditions, what do you think happens then, John?
Then they write a check.
A really big one?
Probably not.
One of those giant publisher clearinghouse checks?
Big giant, physical big check for $100.
We'll submit to the board of the IMF. That includes everybody around the table.
Oh, I love this. Whenever they talk about either the BRICS or everybody around the table, they never quite mention Russia.
Including Russia, including everybody else.
Everybody else? Everybody else?
Submit the program to give support to Ukraine, anywhere between 14 and 18 $billion,
which will primarily go to Russia
over the course of
be all in on that.
2 years, and we're not going to give a big check.
Oh man, why not?
The day after, it will be paid in installment as they progress along the lines of the program that they have adopted.
So the IMF will help design the reforms that are necessary in order to make this commitment on the part of the IMF.
Yeah, that's right.
Like they did with Greece.
Yeah, it is totally Greece.
Where's our big check? Oh, you don't get a big check.
Cyprus, yeah. Now, this was I only have one other clip here. It was very interesting. Here's what Rose said.
Tell me about the sexuality. It's in your DNA.
I'm sorry. For some reason, I confused. Wrong clip. This is about inflation. And I would like to hear your take on inflation, and then we'll hear Charlie Rose and then Christine Lagarde's take on inflation. What exactly is inflation, and what is it used for, and is it good or bad?
Well, there's a lot of theories on whether it's good or bad, but you're asking the wrong question.
The question is... what? Thank you.
So the inflation is the process of allowing the net worth of the country to increase as the value of the currency decreases. There's actually a word for this, and I'm going to have to dig it up. I'm going to have to think what it was. It's
theft.
Well, some people would say that.
Well, this is... So the idea is, the way I understand it...
But the way it works, it's a natural process where you have a shortage that can only be solved by raising the prices. This is an economic model. That by raising the prices so the people that can afford the items will get them because they'll pay more. It's almost like creating an auction market on the fly. It's very similar in that regard. But that brings everybody now to get that same product, they have to either make more money, so they demand more money, and by demanding more money, it creates an inflationary spiral, which adds to it's a complicated scam.
It's a scam. It's theft. So the way I have always understood it is you create inflation by inflating the money supply. That's one way to do it, certainly. That's the easiest way. And that way, the purchasing power of the money you hold in your hand actually goes down.
Right.
But this is an economic system so that so there is growth. But it's really a bunch of bankers scamming everybody. That's
at some level, you could say that.
Let's listen to Charlie Rose and then to Leatherhead.
I'm trained in the law as you are, but you went on and learned economics and I didn't.
Well, he's trained in the law.
I didn't know what that means.
He's a lawyer. I think Charlie's a lawyer.
I didn't know he was a lawyer until now.
I didn't know. And we know she's a lawyer because she ran Baker McKenzie.
She's a lawyer. She's a lawyer's manager.
Yes.
I always thought that inflation was a bad thing. But it seems to me that there's a conversation about inflation that I don't quite understand. What is it that we need to know about the impact of inflation on the global economy today?
Well, first of all, I regard you as highly read and trained in all sorts of matters. So to discount your economic understanding is a bit of an overstatement. But and mine is probably not better than yours.
I certainly hope so.
That's right. Woo! Elites having fun on the podium.
Well, common sense sometimes is worth a lot more than highly sophisticated theories. But back to inflation. I think, it was a few decades back, particularly when monetary policies were, declared better as flexible. A certain amount of inflation was determined as good and helpful. Helpful for growth. Yeah. Because if you know that it might be a bit more expensive tomorrow or the day or next week, it prompts you to actually decide to spend. Right. You buy equity, you buy clothes, you decide to go for the car that you always wanted to have, and so on and so forth, because it's a bargain today and it will be more expensive tomorrow.
These people must be rolling in dough. They're buying clothes, they're buying that car they always wanted because it'll be more expensive tomorrow. This is how the elites view the world. This is very interesting to me.
Well, there's a couple of things. I want to interrupt here for a second. One of the things about inflation is you often have the problem with hyperinflation, which is different than inflation. Normal inflation is what she's talking about.
Yes.
But hyperinflation and some of these other things that can happen aren't really beneficial to the banks. I mean, it might be because people will throw their money into a bank that can keep up with the inflation. The Brazilian banks are fairly good at doing this. But what real big inflation manages to do is it makes money so cheap that if you took out a loan for like $100,000 and you have runaway inflation, now you can pay back the loan with cheaper money, screwing the banks.
Right.
So it's a double-edged sword.
But that's hyperinflation. Now we're just talking about inflation. Which is, in my view, is just transferring money from the citizenry to the elites. That's the way I see it.
Well, that's the way you see everything.
Yes.
Shouldn't be too much of it, because otherwise you run into a very disrupted scene. And a certain degree of inflation is good, which is why quite a few monetary systems adopted either the objective of inflation, like the ECB, or a target like the Fed, and some of them a band within which to keep inflation so that it's under control but high enough so that it stimulates growth going forward.
Never in school did anyone teach me about this.
Yeah, they don't teach you about anything in school.
No.
And I want to also mention something else since we're talking about these kinds of things. Deflation, which is the opposite, which does happen, it usually causes a depression. It's called, and it creates deflation where people can't sell anything, so they keep dropping the price, which is deflation. The reason these people that are this group of thinkers thinks a little bit of inflation is good because deflation does just the opposite. If you think you're going to buy, say you're going to buy a new computer, and if you think that computer is going to cost less the longer you wait,
then I'm not going to do anything.
You just keep waiting because
yes.
it gets so damn cheap and get it for free.
Right.
But okay, go on. Anyway,
well, no,
that's not good for the economy.
I just found it interesting how these people run our lives.
Of course they do.
Yeah, but not everyone thinks about it in those terms.
Most people don't care. They just want to talk about the missing plane and the dead guy or dead girl. I don't know. Somebody died.
I love looking at this stuff. I really do. I find it fascinating. And when these people are all getting together and all all
I got to
hanging
get
out.
this term and this explanation for this one thing, and it just doesn't coming to me, and I'm going to have to bring it up in the next show. I'll find it.
Hey, good news about Haiti.
There's never good news about Haiti.
Oh, there's nothing but good news.
Well, what?
Another U.S. hotel is headed to Haiti.
Oh, that's fantastic. Who's doing it?
Hilton Worldwide will bring a 152-room mid-price hotel to Haiti's capital.
Oh.
This was announced by the chain.
It's actually going to be in Port-au-Prince. It's not going to be in the...
It's going to be right by the airport.
Oh, an airport hotel.
That's right.
That way nobody has to go into town.
That's right. The new Hilton Garden Inn will be the third U.S. brand. Did you know that we already have a 106-room Best Western Premier?
Nice.
And under construction, a 175-room Marriott.
Why don't they just legalize gambling? That would solve the island's problems.
These hotels are, of course, for the economic hitmen that are in there now. And of course, the Heineken people who are investing their $100 million in their brewery. They already have a brewery there. Apparently, they're doing upgrades. Apparently.
Oh, well, you got to get these people to drink more beer.
This will be the first Hilton Garden Hotel in the Caribbean. Also, the first time Hilton will be in Haiti. It's funny how that works with people still. What did they have again? What illness did they have, John?
It wasn't good. It was. I think they had strep throat. Was that what it was?
No. The pooping disease. What
was it? Cholera.
Yes, cholera. That's right.
How did it? That's not really normal. They have cholera.
No, I think they got it from the UN peacekeepers.
Came in and brought it in purposely.
Yes. Well, who knows? I can't say if it was purpose or not.
I would say that. Sure.
So this hotel will be done and open for business just in time for President Michael Martelly for his 2016 rebid for after his 5-year presidential term. So it'll be perfect. Everyone will have a place to stay.
Well, just so we know that we're not just stealing goods and services and things from the Haitians. We do it to ourselves too, apparently, every so often. They try to keep it out of the news so the public at large doesn't know this is going on. I never heard this story except on France Van Cat. Mm-hmm. It's a very elaborate story where the FBI's decided that some old fart, 90-year-old man who's been collecting stuff all his life, they figure they just confiscate it and figure out later what to do about it. This is the personal museum of the FBI.
I heard about this story.
Now then, have you ever, either as an adult or perhaps as a child, collected anything? Perhaps stamps or just shells? Well, in the US, FBI agents have seized a series of arrowheads, pots, skulls, and even a full skeleton from a 91-year-old antiques enthusiast who's been collecting these items since childhood. As Jonathan Crane reports, it remains somewhat of a mystery how on earth he came into the possession of so many ancient relics.
In sleepy rural Indiana, an FBI investigation's underway. Over the past few days, officers have been loading trucks with a treasure trove of priceless goods. Some they think may have been acquired illegally. But this is no mafia job. The house belongs to this man, 91-year-old Donald Miller, a World War II veteran. His amateur museum, connected by underground tunnels, looks like an Aladdin's cave. Amassed over 8 decades, Miller's collection ranges from Native American tools to ancient Chinese pottery. The experts are almost speechless.
Frankly overwhelmed. I have never seen a collection like this in my entire life, except at some of the largest museums.
The FBI is continuing to scrutinise the artefacts with the aim of returning them to their countries of origin. But the law in this area is complex. Authorities won't say if Miller has indeed committed a crime.
Over the last several months, an FBI investigation has determined that Mr. Miller may have knowingly and unknowingly collected artifacts, relics, and objects of cultural patrimony in violation of several treaties, federal and state statutes.
Miller is cooperating with the FBI. The pensioners never made a secret of his vast collection. He used to take school children on tours of his museum, which even featured on local television a few years ago.
Do you have any analysis of this? Because I've seen the report. This has been out for a couple weeks now.
Well, this is, I think, I don't really have any analysis that's anything but superficial, which is the following.
Then you're no better than CNN.
The guy, yeah, but they don't say anything. They just run the story. The guy, obviously some neighbor has a feud with the guy, so they trumped up this thing and called the FBI. This is the say something, see something, turn your neighbor in. There's no reason in the world. Say something. There's no reason in the world for this to happen in the first place. The FBI sees it as something they can steal. This is just thievery. They don't have any evidence about anything.
No.
The guy's just saying, well, it may or may not have done something. We don't know. But we're taking all the stuff and all the videos. They're hauling all the crap out of his place. He's a hoarder, let's face it.
Archivist.
He should have had a museum. He could have put a museum together and had a little shop with a museum, and that'd be fine.
A gift shop.
Gift shop, yeah. But, he's not going to sell anything, so it's not a gift shop. But he could make a museum. People do this all the time. People collect lots of art. I mean, it happens all the time. There's somebody's like 90 years old. They find the guy dies, and he's got an art collection to die for, and they put a museum up and put the art in there. This is very common. So what is with this guy? What makes him so special that they're stealing his stuff?
Are you perhaps highlighting the story because it could happen to someone you know?
It's possible.
As someone you know?
Any amateur archivist?
Mm-hmm.
Who has the Confucius Say book, for example? Possibly
the actual Confucius Say book?
We wonder what he's doing with this Confucius Say book.
We don't trust him. He's really weird. He wears Crocs.
Yeah, I don't wear Crocs.
Yes, you do.
No.
Yes, you
Those
do.
Those are Speedos.
Oh, I'm sorry. They're not even Crocs. They're fake Crocs.
They're fake Crocs. I don't wear those anymore. The ones you're talking about.
Oh,
those
really?
are long gone. They've worn out. I wore them too often.
Well, what shoes do you have on right now?
I'm wearing socks. I got socks on. I got no shoes.
What kind of socks?
Gold toe.
Really? Oh, okay. Black gold toes?
Black gold toe.
Oh, are they knee highs?
No, they're just the regular ones. The knee-high ones they're hard to find, and the problem when you get the knee-highs, you never always get knee-highs. So you pull socks out of the thing, and you got one long sock and one short sock.
I got to tell you something.
You feel like an idiot.
My wife, and my daughter too, by the way, they laugh at my socks when so once in a while I'll wear shorts and sneakers. I'm not, shorts. And I just had white socks. And they're laughing at me. Look at you, douchebag. And they make me wear these socks that don't even cover your ankle. Are you familiar with these
socks?
socks?
Socklets?
Yeah.
That's so...
and I hate them. But
you look like an idiot wearing those.
No, they all think I look good.
No.
Yes.
Probably look good to other men, too, if you know what I mean.
Well, yeah. No,
they're trying to marry you off.
But now when I look around and I see dudes with those, with the white socks pulled up, halfway up their calf, I'm like, yeah, I think it looks better when you just have the little socklet. But it's an annoying experience if you're not used to it, because you feel like your ankles are exposed.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
Well, you don't have a wife living with you.
That's true. This is another good reason to have all kinds of separate houses.
You have such an amazing lifestyle.
So apparently the doctors, have you ever seen this show?
It's
a slightly influential show. They're talking about Coachella.
Oh, the douchebag concert thing, yeah?
Yeah, that.
Mm-hmm.
The concert where everyone gets stoned
in the
and
desert.
It costs hundreds of dollars to get in. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's Burning Man for douchebags.
So, and I said so twice here. I'm sorry. I caught this little segment, and I have to say, now this is one of those shows that's slightly influential. It's a California, Los Angeles show, and I have to give these guys credit for soft peddling pot. And I just thought it was very cool that they did this.
I really don't know what to play.
The Doctors.
Yeah, I don't see that. I don't see... Oh, I'm sorry.
This is like, I could just record that.
Yeah.
Girls and women, but some boys too. We can't forget about that. Going through these drastic, aggressive, dangerous diet measures, then going into a situation that we just heard about. Hot, dehydration, alcohol, some illicit drugs. You're literally taking your life in your hands if you engage in this.
It could be kind of scary, and of course, they're not doing like nice, relaxing, some people are, smoking pot kind of drugs. They're doing designer drugs. Like bath salts and MDMA and Molly and drugs that'll keep you awake for 3 days because that's what they want to do.
Oof. This Coachella sounds wonderful all of a sudden.
You know, the funny thing is, generally speaking, at least when I was a kid, the rock concerts was primarily pot because it was...
yes.
It was because the music and the pot went together. I don't see...
No. I got to stop you right there. I've made some study of this.
Good.
The today's music, John, not the Green Day stuff that you like, those Green Day kids. But let's just, if you look at DJ Terezzo, and Coachella has, all kinds of music. So you'll have your pot music. But house music, techno music... even a lot of the hip hop fusion that the kids are all into these days is designed and recorded and created on ecstasy, cocaine, meth. The drug goes with the music. I think it always has.
It makes sense that what you're saying. I'm expressing myself as an old fart.
Yes.
Assume when I was a kid,
we had pot and we liked
it. To have sugar in the pot,
and we played Rolling Stones. Can't get no satisfaction. Yeah, no, it's so this ride thing that I go to, the spin class.
So it's essentially complementary to the drugs.
Totally.
Okay.
Totally.
It would make nothing but sense.
Yeah, it's completely in line. In fact, I believe that is why you and I can't really stand a lot of the music, because we're not doing the proper drugs.
That would make nothing but sense.
Yeah.
So it's exclusive.
It's very exclusionary.
It's exclusionary.
Yes.
This music is exclusionary.
Yes, exactly.
That's what it makes nothing but sense.
Yeah. Now, I have never done ecstasy. But I
have never done ecstasy.
I look forward to doing it.
But I don't, and I'm not going to. I'm not doing it because I know too many people that have dead eyes after doing it too much.
Oh, I just want to do it once. From what I understand, it's very lovey.
Yeah, don't have sex on ecstasy. That's the rule.
Don't have? I thought that's the whole point.
No.
No, listen.
Look into it. No, you do not have sex on ecstasy because it's so intense because everything your sensories are jerked way up with ecstasy.
Yes,
that sex becomes very boring after that. You won't like sex.
Oh, now I understand. That's where the rope comes in. Yay! He did a call
in the morning.
All right.
No one will get.
All right. We need to continue on our quest to make Vladimir Putin look as evil as possible in our media, the mainstream media. This aired on CNBC, but I believe it's from the National, which is the Scandinavian broadcasting.
Yeah, CBC.
No, I think this aired on CNBC as well. This is where it was recorded from. So they have a deal. They have a handoff deal, a syndication deal.
Nice.
And it was a portrait of
Putin!
It was about 20 minutes. A portrait of Putin. And the people who came in to talk, and I only pulled a couple clips, 2 people in particular. The number one guy who I start with here is Michael Hayden.
Oh,
he, of course...
war criminal? The guy who was all in on torture? That guy?
Yeah, that guy.
By the way, I think I'd love to have a beer with that guy. Because he just seems like a very talkative person with a lot of interesting stories.
Whatever you do, don't do ecstasy with him.
No. With the rope.
I've got meth in my pocket. So here he is. Now, he was the director of the CIA. He also ran the NSA. And, of course, he is now, you can have him show up for anything as long as it's slamming Putin. And it's really contradictory, some of the things he says, but it's interesting to hear his take on Putin, which, of course, falls in line with everything we are led to believe.
And I think he's thoroughly KGB. But I think the most important aspect of that KGB heritage, that KGB personality within Vladimir Putin, is an incredibly conspiratorial view of the world.
He's a conspiracy theorist.
Michael Hayden was for years a man to whom the White House turned for advice. A general, former director of the CIA and of the electronic
A general?
spies.
I thought he was in the Navy. I could be wrong.
Could be wrong.
At the National Security Agency. He has read Putin's file, so to speak. What does that mean, having been KGB? I mean, it means something to you, clearly. I'm not sure it means anything to the ordinary person.
He's got historic grievances. He's already complained about the greatest tragedy of the 20th century.
This is they love pulling this out. Do we actually have on record somewhere where he said this?
Okay, it's Air Force. I'm sorry. No, we've never had.
I've never heard it.
I've never heard it.
I'm going to look for it.
The end of the Soviet Union, fine. A lot of Russians have historic grievances. But Putin, because of his KGB background, attributes those problems to others and their actions who are constantly, aggressively plotting against once the Soviet Union and now the Russian Federation. Look, I'm very happy to tell you that they think we at CIA and the American security establishment spend just about every waking moment and every day thinking about Russia. And the truth of the matter is, we didn't think about Russia very much while I was director, maybe even to a fault.
Interesting. What were you doing then, dude? You weren't thinking about it, really?
I think maybe the most telling aspect of the KGB experience for him and how it shapes his thinking is that he really does view this as zero-sum. I win, you lose. If you win, I lose.
Here's what I found from 2005, and this is actually... Okay, this is a quote. Russian President Vladimir Putin told the nation Monday that the collapse of the Soviet Empire was, quote, was the greatest geopolitical catastrophe of the century and had fostered separatist movements inside Russia. The epidemic of collapse has spilled over to Russia itself, he said, referring to the separatist movements as those in Chechnya. This is a little different than, I think, what people are saying now. First and foremost, direct quote, it is worth acknowledging that the demise of the Soviet Union was the greatest geopolitical catastrophe of the century. As for the Russian people, it became a genuine tragedy. Tens of millions of our fellow citizens and countrymen found themselves beyond the fringes of Russian territory. That's not exactly the way it's being quoted now, would you say? That's fair?
No, it's they make it, they're painting a picture of some guy holed up somewhere, so fretting, wringing his hands about, the greatness of the Soviet Union. If I was only the guy running that instead of this piece of crap I've got here underneath me.
Right. Which is very different.
Yeah.
So now this profile of
Putin
turns to very interesting person, Masha Gessen. Now, Masha Gessen is a lesbian, Russian lesbian, a lesbian. And she wrote a book about Putin, but she really grew up in America with her brother. They went to, I think she went to college in Boston. And she resurfaced. Actually, she was back in Russia. She worked for the State Department. Hold on, I have it here. She ran. What is that State Department radio station that we had over there?
Voice of America.
Radio Liberty.
Oh, radio. Okay, that's different.
Right. Well, no, it's a State Department funded thing. And then she actually met with Putin. And then 2 days later, everybody at Radio Liberty got fired, and they pulled the license. And so Radio Liberty was no longer on the air. She also, interestingly enough, is writing a book about the Tsarnaev brothers.
Yeah, it's funny.
So
so somebody's writing these books for her.
Somebody, I would say, and
the old somebody.
She is. Whatever she does or is, I don't care. But she comes across as very, very angry and grouchy, and she's very clear how Putin thinks. She's going to ratchet it up one notch for us in this profile of Putin.
I think he's your run-of-the-mill mediocre dictator. There are a lot of mediocre men who have become tyrants, and he's one of them.
I love the music in the background to accentuate everything.
Is that music? Did you put that music back there?
No, this is part
What's the point of the music?
Yeah, well, also, mediocre men becoming dictators. A little hate for men there. Hello.
Oh, yeah, that's an anti-male comment.
I feel a little slighted by that. I mean, there have been some pretty nasty women around, too.
Masha Gessen takes Vladimir Putin more personally. She personifies the Russia that Putin seems to detest. She's openly gay, an intellectual, a dissenter. Her biography of Putin, The Man Without a Face, has been translated into several languages. Putin, she says, has expanded his notion of Russian manliness to include contempt for gays. He uses it, says Gasson, to encourage xenophobia.
In the sense that it's very good shorthand for the West. Everybody understands.
Shorthand for the West.
Yeah, everybody understands that they're foreign agents. We're foreign agents.
Why are they foreign agents?
Because Russia didn't have gay people until the Soviet Union collapsed. It's a clear Western import.
If you're gay, you're a spy.
Pretty ineffective spy at that level.
Yeah, see, if you're gay, you were a spy, Masha Gessen. You were working for the U.S. State Department. So, all right. So, and I really disapprove of misusing LGBTQIAP for political motives this way. I really have to disapprove of this. And she's just using this meme that was created that Putin hates gays. Well, clearly he's a homo himself. It's obvious. And that every gay person is a spy. I do not like when people do this.
On the whole, here's a man who has dismantled the electoral system in Russia, taken over the media, thrown in his opponents into jail, had some people killed, has annexed parts of at least two neighboring countries, is threatening.
Hold on a second. Everything she said there, Obama's done.
I know. Are you trying to take my punchline?
Next, parts of at least two neighboring countries is threatening the rest of the world with unbridled aggression, has scapegoated minorities and instigated violence against them. That's bad enough. He's a monster.
Obama! Putin!
He's a monster! So this is what you're supposed to believe. And while a lot of that may be very true, I think the same can be said for, I don't know, American presidents.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure they're doing the same sort of counter-programming in the Soviet Union, in Russia, within the schools, calling us out for one thing or another.
Yeah, but it's counterproductive to the growth of the human race.
Well, that's why these people in Russia should be listening to the No Agenda show.
Well, some of them are, and one of them donates regularly.
Yes, one of them donates. Probably he's the only listener.
Sukoyev Alexander.
Alexander,
Sukovy Alexander. Alexander Sukovy? Is that?
Yeah.
Do they do last name first?
Well, that's just the way it comes through on PayPal. I don't know.
Alexander Sukovy. I like Sukovy Alexander better.
We'll just call him that too.
We'll just call him Alexander the Great.
Okay, I like it.
And I got Russian friends. We have Sergin is of dubious descent.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, and well, I'm having dinner with him tonight. I'm gonna drill down into. He grew up in St. Petersburg.
Luck.
Oh, he'll tell me some stuff. I hope.
I did this last show. I'm going to do it more commonly, and we're almost at the end here, and I don't have a lot of stuff I really need to play. Except that, CAR's got some action going on. They're the Central African Republic. We're going to send 12,000. The UN is now going to send 12,000 troops in there, which means Americans feet on the ground will end up being part of it.
This is beyond we have 1,500 French troops who can't take care of business are already in there.
No, they can't do crap, and neither can. And then the Chadians just left. And you can play this car killings.
They were mostly just civilians trying to go about their daily business when they were caught in the crossfire. Police say at least 30 people have been killed in fighting between anti-Balaka and Muslim fighters in the town of Dikoa in the Central African Republic. Police say the fighting lasted more than 4 hours with stray bullets, killing most of those who died. It happened despite the arrival in the capital Bangui of the first European Union troops, a small contingent of just 55 who immediately began conducting their first patrols in sensitive parts of the city. Today, the UN Security Council is expected to authorize the deployment of some 12,000 new troops there to help stem the spiral of unrest.
Wow. Okay, we got to pay attention to that. I want to know how many are going to be U.S. peacekeepers.
We're going to have to deal with that, but play part 2, and I think there's some messaging going on here I think the international community is getting the message. I don't think the American public, I think this message is going to be kept out of our mainstream media. It's going to be kind of passed over because this is this is a message to the Muslim communities in Africa. What's the store?
Muslim population in particular, but there are concerns that ethnic cleansing is already underway.
Now with the anti-Balaka activities, almost 80% of the Muslim population has been forcibly displaced. I went there myself last month and saw all their houses and their stores and shops totally destroyed.
The Muslim population is estimated to have dropped from 15 to 2%. And critics argue that the 12,000-strong UN peacekeeping force set to deploy in September will be too little, too late.
Wow.
So there's something going on that's above just this little battle. This is a messaging thing, and it's telling these guys that they're going to, the whole thing began when they got some power early. They didn't have enough of the percentage of the population to pull this off, and they started, riding roughshod over the Christian majority, and then things just fell out of control, and these guys got rousted and run out of the country.
Yep.
And I think this is a message of some sort, and it's going to follow up as such.
I have a quick little ditty here in the
Shadow Puppet Theater.
Haven't done that in a while. The Shadow Puppet Theater.
Yeah.
Our Secretary of Health and Human Services, Kathleen Sebelius, resigned.
Right.
After, it's funny, I saw a posting from one of my Obama bot friends literally saying, "We knew this, right? No drama Obama makes his numbers and then quietly gets rid of the old problems." Like, wow, okay. You're all in on that.
That's the meme.
That's the meme, yeah. And of course, Sebelius said, she wasn't kicked out or anything.
Of course not.
Unfortunately, she was interviewed by the Huffington Post just last week. They do video over there. They have that Russian...
Yeah, horrible video, but yes, they do.
They have that the girl who used to be on RT. Well, not the one who resigned, but some other woman. Well, here's the little banter they had a week ago.
All right, now, Secretary Sebelius, this obviously has been a long, hard push to get this program up and running. I think not only technically, politically, this must have been very difficult. So do you see yourself sticking around until November for round 2?
Well, absolutely. I think the goal really is
I
edited this down a little bit just to get to the end part.
People have affordable health care options. That's really what is at the end of the day. This is the most satisfying work I've ever done. I think I've had the chance to visit people in the call center. Now, these are folks in 17 sites around the country. There are 14,000 of them on the job today. That's what keeps me going every day, and that's why I stick around.
All right, so you're staying for...
Hold on. It's not done yet. It gets better.
No, it can't get better.
Yeah, it can.
So you're staying for a while.
I'm in.
Okay, got better.
I told you I'd give it. Really? I get the clip of the day for that? No, that's
very funny.
No, that's kind of you.
Yeah.
Clip of the day.
So I was following the same story, and I have a clip.
Well, I just wanted to...
Well, before you finish that, because my clip has you're just talking about Sebelius, right?
Yeah, only about Sebelius.
Okay.
Did you see when her resignation speech?
Yeah, when she lost the page?
Yeah.
She couldn't even get that right.
I just want to play that for people.
Hand me a phone with someone on the other end saying thank you. Their stories are so heartening about finally feeling secure and knowing they can take care of themselves and their families. Unfortunately, a page is missing. So I'm just grateful.
She can't even. She's just a screw up. Let's face it.
Just wanted to finish my shadow puppet theater. Then I'll be quiet. This is a whole lead up.
Okay.
The woman replacing her.
That's what I want to get to.
Okay.
And this clip will be relevant.
Good.
I just want to play this revolving door clip because she is part of the revolving door group.
Yes.
And there's a new member of the Revolving Door Club.
It's the
Shadow Puppet Theater.
And she wasn't fired immediately. And I think the president was wise to get through that milestone we've all been sort of looking at, which is that 7 million sign up. They achieved that. She gets to leave with some grace. She was a policy person they brought in. She was one of the top 5 governors in the nation, according to Time magazine, when she served in politics. But it could be you needed somebody who was a management person. You know, it was Jeffrey Zients who came over from the OMB to kind of clean up the mess with the IT problem they had with Obamacare. And now we have Sylvia Burwell coming over. She also very strong on management, not only worked as the assistant chief of staff for Clinton, also worked for the Gates Foundation and ran the Walmart Foundation. So she's got a great background.
I'm glad you had the clip. Because I didn't have a clip. But yes, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the epitome of NGO medicine people. And she's going to now run Health and Human Services?
Yeah, this is corruption at its finest.
It's beyond.
The finest hour of corruption, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be witnessing shortly.
It's almost like, there was a conversation was had somewhere.
This is like Monsanto. And getting their people in all over the place.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Isn't who's the Monsanto guy? Isn't he? Is he? What is he running?
He's running the Monsanto department.
No, it was
Monsanto.
Who was the guy? Who was? What was he running again? It was.
He's running. It wasn't EPA. It was something else though. It was Farm Bureau or the Farm or the I don't know land. I don't know what it was. Land. I don't know. It's something to do with farming.
Why do we not know this off the top of our heads?
Because we have not discussed Monsanto for a good 6 months, and we don't keep all these things at the top of our brain list. And I'm FIFO, first in, first out. Mm-hmm. So I have long forgotten until I get his name back. Then I'll have it for another.
Was it the USDA that he's running?
Could be. We'll have to. We'll resolve this and bring it up on the Thursday show.
Oh, I feel horrible now.
Well, you can't remember every douchebag who comes through the portal.
Who comes through the poop hole? Yes, I should know at least the Monsanto guy.
Well, we've forgotten about him. Let's resolve this now on the.
Yeah, I won't feel good unless we. What is the guy's name? Yes, Michael Taylor.
What does he do?
Lobbyist turned USDA administrator.
Yeah. Mike Taylor.
That's it. The United States Department of Agriculture, run by a Monsanto lobbyist.
Yeah.
Hey now.
Right. Now we got this woman who is used to be with
the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation.
And also the Walmart Foundation, which is like anti-everything.
Are they really?
Well, I mean, the Walmart people are anti-labor. They're exploitive. They ruin neighborhoods. It's a horrible. I mean, I'm all in on the anti-Walmart memes. I don't really care enough to bring it up on the show or discuss it because I don't think it's that important. There's nothing you can do about it. But I'm not a big fan of the company. No. Although I will actually shop there. My wife will not go into one.
No, of course not. I won't go into a Walmart. I rock against the Walmarts.
Okay, well, I will go in. I'm magnanimous. In fact, I find them highly entertaining. I was in the Walmart in Macon, Georgia once. That is an absolute treat. Just the people in there.
Wow. No, I won't go. I don't think it's a good idea.
No.
Not even in a pinch.
9-month-old charged with a crime.
Yeah. Are you trying to...
Play this clip while you're playing the music. It's real quick.
9-month-old... like that.
Pakistan. A judge dismissed attempted murder charges against a 9-month-old baby. Yeah, you heard me. The infant was in court clutching his bottle after being arrested and fingerprinted, along with the rest of his family, for fighting with police over unpaid utility bills. His attorney says the baby's charges were simply a mistake.
Yeah. Why do you even make me play this? This is dumb.
I know.
You should go on the Jon Stewart show. Ha ha! Isn't that stupid?
I should go on the Jon Stewart show, but I won't get invited.
No. All right, on Thursday, we shall return. There is some interesting legislation coming up. I also have a connection between STEM and the pharmaceutical industry with a new report. STEM apparently is also important to create new workers who can come up with new fabulous drugs for things like sluggish cognitive tempo. And meanwhile, Rome is burning.
Well, hopefully they'll find the plane.
Coming to you from FEMA Region 6 here in the capital of the Drone Star State. In the morning, everybody, I'm Adam Curry.
I'm from Northern Silicon Valley, where I'm still doing my taxes, very disturbed by it. I'm John C. Dvorak.
We'll be back on Thursday, right here on No Agenda.
I'm Joe Biden, and thank you for taking the time to listen.
Adios, mofo.
Boontang! The best podcast in the universe. Dvorak.org/NA